What is going on, All-Terrain Nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these freaking badass Broncos we all like to drive. Well, most of us, I think. Some are still waiting. This is your Bronco Talk Live, presented by White Knuckle Off-Road, the best rock sliders that I know of out there. You may have your opinions, and I have mine, but White Knuckle has treated us very well. They've always been on our vehicles, and they've always, well, I won't say they always, they've never let us down. So all they ask is go see them, go to their website, check out what they offer, and make your decisions from there. So in the next couple weeks, you will see White Knuckle Off-Road sliders on my truck. We were going to do it this weekend, and the weather turned nasty. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going outside tonight. So as you can see, it's an open room tonight. Kelly might be in a little bit, and Allie might be in a little bit. And sorry, I had to stumble in here, man. Chasing myself. You push the start button, and then you're like, oh, I gotta shut doors and do all kinds of stuff. So, anyways, I hope everybody is having amazing Jason K.I.O. I hope everybody's having an amazing Monday. The weather here in Middle Tennessee is starting to turn around. It's spring is like that close. We had an 85-degree day the other day. And you talk about excited. You know, I put the poll in there, and you guys got to answer the poll. The top was down. Yes, the top was down. The doors were still on it because I'm no fool. Because I knew the next day it was going to be cold, which it was. We went from 85 to 40. But that day the top was down and the windows were down, and I was having a blast. It's been a long time. I think November is the last time we had the top back on the old Broncos. So I was very excited about it. So answer the poll tonight, and let's do this. So I've got somebody. There's somebody back down here. They're waiting. It's been a while. They're very driven with Broncos. I'm just going to say that, and go ahead and put the comments in there. I'm curious to see if you guys are going to guess who it is. And like Steel Bronco says, smash that like button for me. I greatly appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages, the man that has a Mustang that I'm very jealous about, the man that has like more Broncos, I think, than what to do with, and he's got more on the way. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Duane from Driven Wild Outdoors. What is going on, buddy?
What is going on? Thank you. I was actually going to give you grief for being late for your own show, but after that intro, I just got to say thank you for allowing me to be here tonight, Dave, and all of your awesome, subscribers. Yeah, it's like a family, a community.
We have a big family here.
You do.
And I've been meaning to reach out to you. Been watching your show, man. You've done some really cool videos here lately, man. For one, I like the walk around that you did of the Bronco Sport. Somebody in my neighborhood bought one of those, so I have one of those in my neighborhood, and that color, Duane, is freaking awesome, man.
I'll tell you, if you haven't seen one in person, and I hadn't seen the Robin's Egg Blue, I'd seen the Yellowstone up at Woodward.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see this color, and the sun was going down, so I didn't see it in direct sunlight. It is just so bright. It's cheerful. And that little bit of red, I know I sounded kind of goofy on there going over the red, but the red against the white and the blue, it just really pops. And I can imagine it on a 2-door or 4-door.
Oh yeah, no, I think if I had my choice, it'd be a 2-door in that color, and it would only come out on weekends, and that would be it. I would be very happy with that, especially the Heritage Limiteds, man. I believe they're going to be collector's items. I really do, because I think it's just hey, we're doing these for basically a year and a half. They want to see probably what the take rate is on it, the excitement behind it, and it may be something they do.
Yeah.
Once a year. And companies like Jeep, are known for specialty colors. They will throw out for every 6 months some new color, and it's an exciting way for the Jeep brand to get, residuals. They want people coming back buying new Jeeps. And I think that might be a way for Ford, if they offer a heritage line, it might be a way for them to do their special colors. And
well, the Jeep dealership here, Dave, when they get a load, and it's kind of strange, they don't get just one truck. There's like 2 or 3 at a time. Mm-hmm. It looks like a Skittles bag. Yeah, right. Somebody spilled all over the parking lot. I mean, there's just about every color you can imagine. And what's interesting is, and I've said this on my show plenty of times, what's interesting is slowly it transitions to white, black, and gray, because that's the colors that sit longer, at least on that lot.
Right.
Bright greens, orange, whatever that, like safety orange or safety yellow, greenish, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That color goes, it seems, the fastest. And I think Ford needs that. I know there's an issue with painting so many different colors at map, but I think they need that outrageous color at least 1 year.
Right. Well, so before we get into the deep stuff tonight, I've got to do it. Kelly's not here, and she would probably, I would get in trouble if I did not do this. So let's get this going. Boom, boom, boom. I love that little thing. Let's see who all is in the house here, and we will say, Duane. By the way, they're saying hi to you, man.
Well, and I just cranked up the comments here on my cell phone. I can't see it where I'm at. Let's see. Was it Bird Dog Overland? Hello, Johnny, Jason K, Cigar Texan. Hello. Yeah, I don't take over your
family
show,
is in the house for you, Duane. Let's see. We got Terrence Mooney in the house, who Terrence has gotten his Bronco, if I remember correctly. Like you said earlier, we got Mr. Bird Dog himself. Steak and potatoes may feed my body, but the Bronco feed my soul. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Cigar Texan in the house. Thank you, sir. Mark King, once again, my neighbor who I don't get to see enough, man. Mark is in there, and Mark is a big guy on my Discord, man. So if you guys don't know, we have a Discord, and I'll throw the link up here in a little bit. It's just a way for everybody who connects in here. You can connect hourly if you want, minutely. I don't know, but it's a good way to continue the old conversation, and it's all things automotive. So but we got Mr. Andy Ackerman in the house with $1.99. You guys know I like those weird super chats. Dave, whip out those rock sliders. So I have a trip coming up, so I've got to get them on the vehicle. I'm going to Windrock March 18th. The Tennessee Bronco Club is meeting over there, and I thought, hey man, what a better way to break in the old Bronco at Windrock is to go with fellow Broncos. So I thought that'd be fun. We've got Mr. Johnny's Car Care and Reviews in the house. So yeah, so Johnny got fired up today. Johnny
he was on fire tonight. Great show, Johnny. Awesome.
Yes.
Love watching it.
Yes. Mr. Robert Bilth in the house. Happy blend day to me. Congratulations, man. There's not a feeling like it until now. You're like, so when do I get it? And that's the $1 million answer, because there is no answer for that one. They build them, and then you pray, and you pray to the Bronco gods, and yeah. Mr. Pickup Truck Plus SUVs Talk. He was in here, but he says his recliner is calling. So have a great show. I appreciate that. Tim was on. All my friends are on at the same time now. It's like it's getting to be like live streaming is so competitive now, Duane. And of course, you know that you do it a show, and then Bronco Nation decided to do a show around the same time, and then everybody, like Johnny's in on Mondays now too, and it's getting to be the battle. I like it, man.
It is the battle. I mean, it is fun too. I just think, when I looked at Wednesday night, when we switched from Sunday, I just said, there's nothing out there. Let me do Wednesday night. If there was a show out there, I wouldn't compete with them. It's just not what I do. I compete in business, not on YouTube.
Right.
Even though YouTube's kind of a business, so. But I think we're looking at starting our show at 9. We started at 8:30, so Gavin could have more time on the show. Mm-hmm. So I may have to start it at 9, since we're being. We have competition in the beginning, and that hurts the algorithm. People don't understand is that, if your show starts and it creeps, and anyway, yeah. But for everyone showing up each and every week, we appreciate them. And hey, I see Andrea is in the house with a super chat.
He is, man. Andrea has been very kind to both of our shows. Andrea says he is ready for that top off weather. Of course, Andrea, he's got a better top now to take off. Duane, what did he pick up?
He has that white Bronco Raptor with the graphics on the back, and it is sharp looking.
Nice, man. I'm very jelly of
and I don't know if I should tell this story or not. Maybe I won't. But Andrea messaged me and said, "Hey, it was at a local dealership. He lives in Virginia. Well, he lives in the eastern part of Virginia. We live 2 cities away or something like that." And he told me, "Hey, they have this thing. If you're interested." He was so generous because he knew I'd been waiting so long. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, kind of Code Orange fans and stuff like that. And the next day I saw his picture on his Facebook page, and I'm like, good for him, man. That's awesome. Andrea's he's a good guy. And did you know he was a singer?
Well, I knew he was a musician, but I saw him on Facebook the other day singing, and I was very I won't say surprised, because anybody that me and him has had some good guitar conversations. So I figured he knew his stuff, and yeah, he was singing some, was it ZZ Top or something?
Yeah, I don't know, but I wish Becky was like, I wish we could have made it, but Andrea, next time, even if we're going to a wedding, so we're going to cancel that and we're going to go see you sing. We'll be your little groupie section over there.
I have to say this was given to me about 2 years ago. This is some Blanton's. So you guys see that?
Nice.
I've been saving this because my man Honest bought this for me, and Blanton's is fairly expensive, and I've been saving it. This was bottled 3/121, so it's it's aging as it speaks. But Honest, I'm consuming yours tonight because he bought me this. He bought me this little one. He said, "Put this one on the shelf." He said, "Drink the other one." So this is a tiny little Blanton's. But
Hey, Dave, I have some beef with you anyway.
oh.
Where's my book at, man?
Oh, well, so my daughter rearranged this.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I noticed I hadn't seen it up there in a while. I'm just kidding. You know that. But seriously, that looks like a good. What exactly? What was that you just held up?
Blanton's.
Blanton. Never had it.
I hadn't either till Honest give it to me. But yeah, it's
nice. Nice.
I guess a premium whiskey, and it is very good.
Pretty cool bottle.
So tonight we're going to get into, and I'm going to acknowledge a few more of you guys in a minute, but I want to let you guys know what the plan is tonight. Hopefully Kelly and Allie. I know Allie was in the middle of a deal. She was like, "Dave, I'm going to be late." She's in one of those deals where like you're beating down like the numbers, like you got to fight her. It's a 10-round thing, and she's boxing them. So I was like,
yeah,
hey.
Sorry everyone, I'm the best Dave could pull off at the last minute. So.
No, not at all. No. I've been thinking all week. I was like, I gotta get you back on the show, man. But so they'll pop in a little bit, and I know Allie's gonna bum herself out about this one because Duane, I don't know if you've noticed, we have a clock, and this is the Supercell clock. So we have 49 days and 15 hours till Supercell, man. So I want to get into a little bit of the talk about that night because next week's guest will be IAG. We're going to have JJ, the owner of IAG Off-Road, on. And we don't just deal with the retail people. We go straight to the owners. We want to find the people that can give us the real answers. And I thought this might be a good way to blend in and get an idea of what you guys are interested in for we can talk to them next week about. But man, Supercell, it can't come fast enough, Duane. I'm itching for some sun, get the tops down on the Broncos, and meeting a bunch of you guys that come in and just having some fun. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. Last year we talk about it like people are like, "All right, stop. I've heard it enough." But it was that most random hangout. You had some stuff going on. I think we got to hang out one night. But it was one of those things where I'll let Andre tell the story, but he had an event there at a restaurant we went to, and it was classic. And then we did we had Tim with Overlanding for Fun, and who was it? Bronco 78. And then we had this guy show up that was just out. He was Photobomb Steve, we called him. So we're taking a picture. There was Tim, Andrea, Becky's Bronco, my Bronco. Man, I hope I'm not forgetting someone off the cuff, but there may have been someone. Oh, Bronco 78, of course, he was there. And he's got like the Bronco that stands out from all the 6 gens, of course, being the 78 red and white one. Right. And then we're taking a picture, and this guy drives up in this mid-90s, 94, 95 white Bronco, and the dog's hanging out, and he's hanging out the window and photobombing us, right? So photobomb Steve. Ended up hanging out with us for 2 days. It was just the most random, fun time.
Yeah, no, I remember you telling that story, and it was funny how like you guys everywhere you went, it seemed like there was that guy just maybe he was a fan that just didn't know how to say hello.
No, he was a not exactly local, but around the Tennessee area, and he was visiting. Right. He was camping with his dog that weekend somewhere, and he just happened to go by there. He had a Bronco, and it was most random thing. Yeah, we took a family photo when we were leaving the day we were packing up. And we get home, and I was looking in the back. There he is again. Like, dude, I didn't even see him there. So it was just a fun time. But we, found some restaurants that I wouldn't have normally stopped to go to. Mm-hmm. And they were some of the best food in the world. And of course, we stayed in Pigeon Forge. So if you're going and haven't booked anything yet, I'll tell you that Pigeon Forge, if you have kids, is where you want to go. Right. Because there's go-karts, there's museums, there's restaurants, there's all sorts of whatever. Gavin had never been to a Shoney's. And so we went to Shoney's, did the buffet thing, and then we went back at the end of the day, and we had some of that famous Shoney's chocolate and cake, with all the good stuff.
Oh man, yeah, that layers of stuff that's going to put like 10 pounds on you. Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that because I know for either mom or dad, whoever's wanting to come to, and you may be single, I don't know, but if you're wanting to come to that or you have kids or something, yeah, like I know my daughter would last about an hour or two. Well, she went to a Supercell with us when we were over for a day, but you could tell like a couple hours in, she was just like, I'm done with this. Like I'm ready to go do something else. And we had promised her to take her to go-karts. And of course this was when was that? During the pandemic. So it would have been the spring of 21. And there was a line, like Pigeon Forge was really kicking in again. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go home. I'm not waiting in a line, and everybody was still a little nervous with everything. So, but no, it's like you said, it's the place I would stay there if I had a family. So you can go do some family time. Your kids are happy. Maybe the wife's happy. She can, whatever your interests are. They have all kinds of shopping and stuff there. But and then you can go talk Broncos for a little bit. And now this year we're staying in Townsand. We've got an Airbnb there. We're staying around the Michigan Bronco Club, if I remember right.
Nice.
Which is going to be a little weird for me. I'm an Ohio State fan, so it's going to be a little weird.
Oh, you'll do fine. You'll do fine.
Yeah, I'm sure I won't get rasped at all.
So the other thing is too, some of the rides that they have. There's some. I think Windrock is something that happens, right?
Josh Hamilton was on here a couple weeks ago talking about they were getting ready for the Windrock stuff. Yeah,
good deal. And then a couple of drives. I mean, when we got there late on the first day last year, whatever the Wednesday I think it was, and when we were rolling in almost into Townsend, we passed probably 30 or 40 Broncos going the other way, and I got to tell you, it was intimidating. I was like, man, I'm excited. I can't believe we're late because we left a little later and wanted to. Right. But just seeing the different generation Broncos, and some were, resto mods, and some were like concourse, if you want to say it, immaculate, and others were farm fresh, needed some work, but just such a cool variety of Broncos. And I have to tell you, unlike car shows, and I don't mean to, crap on the car shows, but the Bronco community overall just seems to be a more of a friendly event.
Yeah. No. And me and you've talked about this privately, how different they are from, I know you do some Mustang stuff and like some of I get it. You put a lot of money into some of these cars, you don't want them touched, or, you kind of keep people at a distance, but then probably don't bring your vehicle out. If you're that nervous about it, don't bring your vehicle out. Most people at car shows are pretty respectable, and they don't mess with the stuff. But there was some Broncos that, were definitely roped off out there last year, but I never saw anybody freaking out about anything, man. Very chill crowd. The older crowd, as far as the original Bronco stuff, they're starting to open up more and more about it. I think some of those people are actually starting to buy 6 gens. And so they're kind of seeing the pluses of having the new guys around. Which is very nice. I like going through. They have the in the back. I don't know if they'll do it again in the back this year, but they had the
Bronco Olympics.
Well, but I won't call it like the garage sale stuff. They had parts, whatever you needed. There was definitely one I saw out there that was, completely rusted. And the guy wanted like 20 grand for it. I was like, there's no way you're getting that for it. But he had a unique story about it, and it was fun to talk to the guy. But there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. And Duane, you've been the past couple of years. I've been the past couple of years. Each year that we've seen this, it just doubles in size.
Oh, yeah.
And I think last year almost tripled in size of what it was the year before. What are you expecting this year? Do you think we're going to see a lot more vendors, a lot more Broncos showing up?
Well, I think we are, because if you think about it, even vendors that are slow to the show, so to speak, the more Broncos on the road, the more potential clients they have, the more people want to jump in. They've had a chance to do R&D, come up with new products and pieces. So I think more vendors overall. Of course, more people have their Broncos now than a year ago. So you would expect a few of those folks to show up. Mm-hmm. And I think the more we talk about it on our show, your show, and others to talk about it as well, I think that's growing a little bit of awareness. Like, what's this Townsand thing? And I have to tell you, if you're on the fence about it, my wife, who is the most unlikeliest of people to go to some type of a car show or something like that, she said, well, I'm going because I know you want the other Bronco there and all of that. And that's how she played it, right? We get there the first day, she had a blast. She loved it. When we left, she kept saying, well, next year, let's do this.
No, Becky seemed to have, honestly, she seemed to have a great time there.
Oh, she did. She had a blast. And that's the thing I'll tell you, that someone that is the most unlikely to enjoy something turns out having the best time.
Yeah.
And that was fun for us. And so seeing the different generation Broncos, I don't know if I told you, but at the hotel we were at, there was a guy from Arizona there. He had 2 Broncos on a trailer, and they were late 90s, early 2000s powertrains that he had taken a 65 and a 67 and retrofitted them. So they had AC, they were all-wheel drive, fuel injected. You see that, you see factory, you see farm fresh. When I say farm fresh, I mean it's rolling and running and driving, but it looks rough. And then you see the resto mod. Just cool stuff. And of course, 6th gen, you see all the bolt-on stuff that are there,
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, and of course 6th gen, I've seen it this year. It seems like just the aftermarket support has doubled in size for 6th gen. There's some Chinese copycat stuff out there,
Yes,
but for the most part, there's a lot of original stuff popping up. The cool thing with it is the longer these are out, you'll see, Duane, you were mentioning that there's little new things that you find in the Bronco. You were talking about, we were talking about before this, you wanted to do some videos on some stuff that you haven't seen people talk about. But there's so many like maybe little needs that you don't realize is a need, but somebody else has figured that out. And because there's that little Chinese deal that goes right in the center console. It's a little 2 baskets you put in. Like, that's brilliant. Like, I don't know who came up with it. I don't care Amazon, wherever you get it from. But there's just silly things like that. You're like, well, that's $1 million idea that I wished I would have had.
Well, our friends over at Mountains to Metal, they've come up with a really good storage, like the tray in the back, right? The Molly tray. I forget what they call it, but it's the tray that folds up and down in the back. And also you have the Molly panels on the side, and you can mount an ARB air compressor to that. And it keeps it, I guess, vertical, right? So you're not taking up a lot of square footage. So you still have storage room below that. And I think Bird Dog Overland, doesn't he have like one of everything on his Bronco now, aftermarket? Every week I see these headlights and it's like, man,
I gave Jody some crap the other day on Instagram because I was like, man, he showed something else he put on his vehicle, and he's having a blast doing it, and that's the best part of a vehicle is making.
I love seeing it. Yeah,
but I'm like, man, are we going to glitter the lug nuts at some point? Like, where is the next because every time I go, there's nothing else he can do. Suddenly he's done something.
There's a new so let's see, the engine, transmission, diff, frame, windshield, maybe, I guess all the glass, that'll be OEM. Everything else will be aftermarket. He's bolted on there. So all jokes aside, no, it looks cool. I'm not that brave yet to start doing all that. So I love seeing him do it. So I was like, well, if I was that brave and I put that much money into it, then that's what I would do.
Right.
So keep it up.
What's going on in Radical Rides? Seth, obviously Bird Dog 502 Bourbon Crew, which is he's talked about there. He was trying to get a bourbons and Broncos going on. I bet we could reach out to Jack Daniels, which is only about 20 minutes from my house, and make that happen here. I know that would be a travel for you, but it might be, if anybody's not been to Jack Daniels here in Middle Tennessee, it's the little tour's fun. Your kids may not like it because you get into the where they vat and everything. It's a little smelly. I mean, to me, I love bourbon, so it's the Mecca for me. But my daughter's like, are we doing that tour again? Because I've never been, Duane, I've lived in Middle Tennessee since 1977, 78. Never had, and always have lived 20 minutes from that, and never had a desire, even though I consume lots of. And then one day Kelly's parents were in town, and they're like, hey, let's go do that. And I was like, you know what? That might be fun. And now I've been twice last year.
Oh, so, you went a second time?
Oh yeah. Because then friends want to go, they have a big Christmas. So they do these whiskey barrel trees, and they do this fun lighting, and they have all kinds of acoustic music going on. And then they have, what's really cool is they have some of the master distillers will come out, sign bottles for you. And just, it's kind of fun. The bourbon thing, like, you think Broncos are crazy. There's like such a subgenre of like those people, like, really, I feel like they're going to get the UPC code on the back, and they're all going to fight about why that particular one is, like, they get nuts with it, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah. But the bourbon live.
Yeah. But 502. Yeah, definitely. If that happens, I would definitely be interested in doing something like that with you guys. But let's see. Bird Dog Overland. I want to make sure Jason Boyd is in the house. My son is in the house. Thank you for coming in. Even though he's not really my son, but, somebody thought he was I forget, somebody on here thought he was my son. We got Peugeot, the legendary Peugeot in the house. Tim Conray's in the house. Andy, let's see. Like I said, I don't do Kelly's job as well as, C Square is in the house. Let's see. C Square says, like the guest you have on. Tim and you had a great conversation on Saturday morning. Oh, thank you. Yes. No, thank you. Me and Estrathal, we go back a little bit, so we always have fun. Duane, I was at the Chicago Auto Show a couple weeks ago. They didn't have a Raptor. They got one. I talked to what's the couple that does the Bronco channel?
Bronco Life, or
something like that. And in the comments,
I forget their names, but yeah.
But so Sean was running their Ford's displays out there, and I was talking to him. I was like, man, really? No Raptors. He's like, dude, we're trying to get one in here like today. Like he said, we've reached out because they're so hard to get right now. Of course, that he's like, we had to reach out to a dealer who just got his own personal Bronco Raptor. So that code orange that you see in all the Chicago auto shows was that dealership's personal Raptor that they brought in.
Was it?
So they could have one on display, but they had an amazing, I won't say it's original because they definitely copied Jeep on the whole riding at the auto shows thing, but they had a nice way they demonstrated how all the features of the new Bronco worked. Was a real nice display on that, but Ford had a really nice booth. And of course this is Bronco show, but I know you're big in Mustangs, and getting to see that new Dark Horse. Woo, that was nice, man.
Yeah, to be able to sit in that car was very cool. When we were at Hart Plaza, there's something about it when you were there. We didn't know what was unveiling, or what was being unrolled right in front of us. Right, you saw the EcoBoost, you saw the GT convertible. But when you were standing at Hart Plaza, there's a tunnel that goes into the actual plaza itself, and you could hear that car running below it. And I have to tell you something: a cold start on a Coyote always has that nice pop to it. A lot of people, they ask, well, why does the Mustang sound so much different? Well, it sounds like a few other cars out there. It's because it has a flat plane crank, and it does some scavenging with the exhaust, so it gives it that unique sound.
Yeah.
But when I heard it crank up, I'm thinking Shelby, okay, what's it going to look like? And then the Dark Horse pulls out. It's like, what's the Dark Horse? Where did that come from? And it was so cool. And I can't wait. I think the 27th of March, supposedly you'll be able to see the options. And supposedly April 15th will be the day you can place your order.
Tax day. How appropriate. The Mustang tax.
The Mustang tax. Well, I guess, they're going back to the World's Fair 1964 type thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I will say, though, the one thing I did not like about it is the new carbon wheels. They look like ceiling fans that they
those are options.
No, I know. But I love the GT500 carbon wheels you can get. But these just looked like they didn't look original to me. And I understand they can't go too crazy because they will do a GT version, a 350 or 500 down the road. So they want to save some things. But I was talking to another journalist there, and I was like, those just look like ceiling fans, like the blades of a ceiling fan on it. But carbon, if you want the ultimate for speed and everything, carbon fiber is definitely the way to go. But I don't want to get too deep into
not too much there. But I'll have to say this is when you look at that car and you think Dark Horse, is there ever a chance there's going to be a spinoff in the Bronco called a Bronco Dark Horse? You think that's a possibility?
I don't know. What was the one that we were all worried about for a while? That
Oats.
Yeah, the Oats, which still hasn't really came to light what that thing ever was. So I don't know. And I felt like there was some stuff I read in on some of their stuff where I thought we might see a Shelby Bronco, which I still think you might see a Shelby Bronco. So
yeah, but what would it be?
I think it would be a I don't think it would be a Raptor. I don't know. Probably for stability reasons, much like the Raptor, they want to keep them 4-door because they just
wheelbase,
less chance to roll.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. Maybe you offer that 3.0 in a Badlands or something. I'm just speculating, but maybe there's some way of or you offer a 2.7 in a higher output. Let Shelby tune it how they want to.
Right.
I don't know. And the idea of a race 4-wheel drive is kind of goofy to me anyways, but the idea of some Shelby, like I can imagine the Shelby stripes on it, just having fun with it might be pretty cool to me. But back to Supercell.
Yep.
So we're going to have a booth there this year. once again, I don't really have a ton that we'll be able to offer really. But we're just gonna have a booth. But I want to ask my audience, guys. You guys know I like to have a whiskey from time to time, and I thought about doing a tiny little bar there. Like, and this is not going to turn out like what was the where it was like 2 shots with Dave, but I thought about having a small variety of a whiskey that you may want to if you want a sip on something, we may do about that. So let me know in the comments if that would be sipping with Dave, we'll call it, if that would be kind of fun. But Duane, what are kind of your plans for? Are you just cruising at the Bronco Nation thing again, or what's your plans for?
No, so I did have a question, and they may be watching tonight. We want to look at doing a booth in there, and we're trying to figure out, okay, it's a booth plus registration, or what do we get in if we order, or if we reserve a spot for being a vendor? We have Gavin named him, but Squatchy, our little dude. I don't know if you saw a picture of him yet or not. But Gavin's,
I remember you sent me some original stuff that they were working on.
Yeah, they were working on it. So this guy who does illustrations for kids' books actually drew it. And the reason why we got him to do it is so that we can keep it in motion, right? It's easier I mean, Gavin wants to write a kid's book. And so I think that's cool. And so this Squatchy will be in that too. But I think it's kind of cool though. It's his project, but it's a fun character on a shirt, right? And doing different stuff. And the first one is an eruption green Bronco on its roof. And it says, and he's sitting there like this, it happens. And so that shirt will be there at Supercell with us. And we look forward to that. Some other stuff as well. We have our stickers and stuff like that.
I have a shirt idea that I came up with today, Duane. Don't tell anybody, okay? I don't want anybody to know about this.
I won't say a word to anyone.
But a Bronco shirt that says flip or flop.
Flip or flop. There you go.
I think it's very good for this community of either you flip it or you flop it.
So now you're getting close to HGTV territory now with the houses thing.
Yeah, I don't need those people in Knoxville all over me.
Well, actually they've moved. Now they're in Baltimore, right?
Oh, really?
Part of Discovery.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Jason Boyd says, "Hey, I have a question. What do you guys think about the Everglade wheels on my 2-door Eruption Green?"
I like it.
I'm hit or miss with those wheels. I know Allie's a big fan of those wheels. I think Duane, you're a pretty big fan of those wheels. Jason, you do what you think, man. There's enough people that can Photoshop for you, then put those wheels so you get an idea of what they look like, give you a better idea. Make the Bronco yours, is what I say. I know he has a black diamond, if I remember right, just on 33s. So maybe Jason's going to go up in size. I don't know. And there was one more. So where'd it go? Kelly's a lot better. Kelly's,
why did you find it?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
So Micah Rivas says, just joining. Where is Kelly and Allie? Did Dave do the number 1 yet? I'm saving number 1. We can't just say that when it's too early in the show. Duane, every time I say that, it's a drinking now. So
you see Johnny's comment?
I did not. Let's see.
One of the I love them. Marie does not like the wheels, but I love them. So I have the solution, Johnny. You can put the Everglades wheels on your side of your next Bronco when you get one, and then put whatever on her side of it, right? And just vice versa.
But what if she's driving that day? Do you have to switch?
Well, you got to rotate them. I mean, it's just the only logical solution.
So she can only drive every 5,000 miles, or Johnny can every 5,000.
Hey, let's put Johnny on the spot live. How long do you think it'll be before he has a Bronco again?
That's a good question.
Johnny.
I know Johnny's in between a few. He's got his Lightning, which he's had a little bit of problems with, and I did a story today on Hummer about what kind of a pile of crap that thing's been for GMC, and I don't feel like Fords can escape my WTF series maybe with their Lightning. So you might see something coming down there on that. But no, I think Johnny's going to be. I think the only, because he kind of hinted tonight in his live show talking about, like, they were talking about if they were to get another one, the cost it would cost them now. So
$10,000. He said 6 months here, so we'll see. Watch, it'll be a Raptor. And it'll go with the F-150 Raptor, and you have
man, you gotta pair your friends together like that.
So who the Raptor expert's going to be by the time we get Supercell's Andrea, with his. So he'd be able to tell us, because I thought, like, you and I did the walk around, we know all about it, but neither one of us have one, do we?
Well, you ordered one. I'm working on a different Raptor. I'm working on the Bronco Raptor, which I'm number 1 with Allie. Allie, if you're watching, remember that. Number 1.
The Ranger Raptor is cool. I think Are you surprised that, I know it's Bronco, but are you surprised that the spy photos and what you thought with the interior of the new Ranger, are you surprised that they were correct? That it looks like the prototype and the finished product are really close together.
Well, I mean, I know there's a couple minute differences versus what Australia has, but no, I mean, not really, because these things, they can't go out of their way to make too many changes. I like the interior of it. And I think that this is something I've been thinking about with Bronco. Is I think eventually you see they're going to have to put a, trust me, Jeep is going to put a way bigger screen in theirs, and we know how Ram likes to put that big 10 11-inch screen in their big trucks. Wait till that happens in Jeep, and then, ready or not, Bronco will be due for a slight model refresh in about 2 years.
Yep.
So, and you can expect, I have a feeling once Ranger gets out with the big screen like that, it flips right into Bronco, and they make a few adjustments like that for them.
Well, the one thing with the Mustang,
Dwayne,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not real surprised that it's so close.
Yeah, well, and I think I was surprised because, we see those pictures, or we saw those pictures a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And to see them that long ago and actually see the finished product is pretty cool. What did you, in thinking Bronco in the future, what did you think about the Mustang cluster and center stack? How did you like that setup that they have?
So I dropped a short on that last week. I like it. So this may break your heart, and I had people call me saying I didn't know what I was talking about, which is weird because I was literally sitting in the final product. But the thing I do not like in Mustang right now is the fake paddle shifters. And I say they're fake paddle shifters because they're not paddles. They're literally these little 1.5-inch buttons that sit on top of the steering wheel that look like the top half of a paddle. And I thought that was pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Now Mustang has always tried to be affordable power, so I understand some compromises you have to make, but I thought that was a little wonky in it. I love the screen in the thing. I'll be honest. Of course it's 2 broken up screens. It's not completely, the whole thing's not LCD, but no, it's great. I think they kept just enough in the interior. It's a good blend of futuristic, but they kept classic, like in the automatic. So I was in a GT convertible. The automatic, the shifter still feels like a manual transmission shifter, which they've done for a while. It's not brand new idea, but they did some of the button. There's still some buttons, the on off buttons, nice. A couple of the little HVAC controls are still all there, and everything else is now up in the screen. Yep. But there's a few things I will say, Duane, that I don't like. If you've seen the on off light switches for the Bronco, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
In the Mustang, there's just certain things, and all manufacturers do this, so I'm not beating Ford up about it.
Carrying them over different models.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh man, that kind of feels, I don't know, it just feels cheap to me. But I'm in a lot of these vehicles a lot, so it kind of bums me out. Most people would never notice.
What I thought was interesting is, it's a solid piece of glass, even though you have 2 screens. So you have the digital cluster and the center stack, but it's one piece of glass. What I really like is the Fox body instrument cluster with the green backlight that you can actually configure from the center stack. I'm wondering, next Bronco, right? The refresh of the Bronco, does it get the digital screen or cluster? And
I think so.
What about a retro kind of a layout of that? Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, so I think, yes. So I think Ford knows that people are not happy about the center stack. I really do. I think they've made a little changes, and there's something I want to, speaking of changes, Jeep's adapting to this. But I think that if you were to get into my Jeep Gladiator, and it's just a tiny little LCD screen in there, and they have on the outside of it, they have the classic, your miles per hour and RPMs and stuff.
Right.
That to me works way better than, it's like Jeep was just trying to, or Ford was trying to cram too much into one area. And obviously we do know now they were saving that screen for the Raptor.
Sure.
So that doesn't bother me, but I am with you. I think probably in that refresh, we're going to see a fully digital screen. And I think the idea of how they're doing with Mustang, of doing the little throwback gauges and stuff, I could definitely see them doing that with Bronco. And I think fans of the Bronco would love that. Guys, in the comments, let me know, do you guys think if they were to do, if you've seen the Mustang where they do the throwback to the Fox body dash and stuff, the gauge clusters, would you be interested in if they did sort of a retro where you could option it, you could push through and get different gauge clusters? if they were to do that sort of original 60s, I don't even know what you'd call the style of it, but that kind of miles per hour gauge, I think it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the old analog look.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think it would be anything that they can do like that would just be cool. And I think the digital screen in the Raptor, it's awesome. You know, we were able to see them Supercell other places. It's just amazing. I'm surprised I haven't seen any more in our area though.
What, Broncos in general or Bronco
Raptors? No, the Broncos are showing up everywhere. I'm seeing those every day now.
I've yet to see one here locally.
Yeah,
I know my dealership sold some, but I haven't seen them driving around.
And so we know there's I forget what color it is. What is it? The hot chili pepper, I guess. There's one of those in, like 10 minutes from us. We always see it in that general area. We know,
Right.
Andrea has one. There's a black one running around. I haven't seen a code orange. I haven't seen a green one. I haven't seen a lot of them really. So I think the Raptor, do you know how many they're planning on building if everything works out?
5K a year is what I've heard.
5K a year. Okay.
Which, and that's about in line. They want to keep those special, and I don't know the exact on the F-150 Raptors, but I know they kept the volume way down on those, because they do want to keep, if you made 20, 30,000 of these things a year, they wouldn't be special anymore, and you would limit your audience real quick, and nobody would want them. Bronco 78 says, question, how far do they keep going with the Jeep Bronco battle with the cost for extreme models being so much? So I will say it's a good segue to something I want to talk about. So when I was at Chicago, the Rubicon Jeep was the 20th anniversary of the Rubicon, which we wouldn't have the Badlands today if Jeep had not done a Rubicon version of that. And there was a group of renegades within Jeep. I forget what they call them at the moment, but they were these guys that privately took TJs and they were modifying them under no watchful eyes, we'll say, and the ultimate, front rear lockers and all this stuff. And it caught on, and Rubicon now is the hottest selling Wrangler of all the models they sell. And so they had two of the guys that brought them out there, and they brought the 20th anniversary 392 out, and then AEV brought out their version of what they're going to offer with 37-inch tires. So that's a direct response to the Ford Raptor. The 392 Ford's never going to compete with that. They're never putting a V8 in their Bronco. I mean, don't bring up DR because that's a specialty race vehicle.
Yeah.
But they're just never going to do it because Ford is very environmentally conscious. They don't need any more dings. Bronco in itself is a ding for cafe regulations already. Yeah. So they don't need any more dings. And that's why you're seeing Lightnings and Mustang EVs and all this, is because it just boosts their cafe regs up so they can do some fun vehicles. But V8's never going to happen. But in V8 and 390, the 392 Wrangler, it's short-lived too. You won't see that much longer. If they're killing off their V8s as far as the Chargers and Challengers, it's coming for Wrangler. So that was kind of a last hurrah for them. But the interesting thing, and I've been planning on doing a video about this, is I don't know if you saw this, Duane, that Jeep is now offering marine grade vinyl seats in their Bronco or Wranglers. And there was something else Bronco like that Kelly pointed out to me the other day that they're offering. So they've got the Extreme Recon package now with 35s. That's a direct, they would never put 35s on if it wasn't for Bronco. You can get 37s now with the AE version, which would have never happened if it wasn't for Bronco. And I think it's a battle. It's a battle for the ages. And where does it end? I don't know. The sad part is those 20th anniversaries are 100K. That's ridiculous. I think in the past 10 years, the price of cars in general has just skyrocketed.
It has. Well, 100K is the new 50K.
Yeah, when we and Kelly have talked about it many times. The idea that we would have bought a almost $60,000 kind of third vehicle, we'll call the Bronco. It's our daily, but most people, it's their garage vehicle. They don't drive it or want to drive it daily. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I know a lot of our viewing audience does, but it's much like Wranglers. You always see Wranglers when it's snowing. You rarely see them out, or when it's cold. As soon as it warms up, suddenly there's Wranglers everywhere. Cockroaches will say.
Hey, do you know when the whole vehicle price thing really started to ring. I don't know. It started to haunt me. It was in 2012. We bought a house. We buy and sell houses, and we bought a house for $27,500. And I was in an F-150 that I'd paid. It was loaded, and I want to say it was like 50,000 then, like high 40s, 50,000, something like that. And I'll never forget. I'm thinking, let's see, should we buy this house? I don't know. And there out front is a almost $50,000 truck. And here I am with a house that's going to earn me. I do real estate. I know this, right? But I had to, I don't know. I was driving down the road. I was like, you're like, what's going on here? Why am I driving a vehicle that's almost twice what this house is costing?
Right.
And, it's obviously things have changed a little bit, but still we're out here buying $75,000 work trucks. Work trucks, you're going to tear it up, 75 grand.
And that the qualities, honestly, the quality of the materials are not what they used to be. And the idea that you're just going to really tear that thing up a lot faster. And you're paying way more than you should. Yeah.
Yeah. And the EV push thing, Dave, I look at it from I don't dislike anything. I'm like all of the above. I don't care what you do as long as it's like for the good, the better of the cause. But, they can only build so many right now with the technology, wherever the battery, the minerals come from, or the precious metals come from, right? They can only dig them up so fast by hand. You have technology that has its issues. And there again, it's early. I get it. But normally what happens is R&D happens. It happens over time. You're not forced into... I think a lot of manufacturers being forced into, you'll do EV and you'll like it.
Yes. Well, I think our government on that, and I'm pretty free market, I'm pretty libertarian as far as keep the government out of my life and I'll stay out of their life. But no, I think our current administration especially is pushing hard for that. And I will say sometimes it does take things we don't like, a big push like that, to maybe spark the next generation of breakthroughs. So, but I'm happy we still have gas powered vehicles right now. And I think I watched CNBC had a thing on the Elon Musk and the Tesla's semis. And of course they're having, people, I've seen the memes going around where the one's broken down on the side of the road, which guys, Pepsi, all these people, they knew they're throwing money out there knowing there's going to be some challenges for these vehicles, but no, there's certain things EV will never work for. It just can't. And unless we have some major breakthrough of the storage technology, it's just not going to happen, man. I remember we've all probably had RC cars. Having the little Tyco RC cars. You'd put those batteries in, you'd get maybe an hour of play out of the thing, and they were dead. And I remember as a kid, batteries were expensive. Like mom and dad was not going out to the store so I can play another hour with that little thing. And so I don't know, Duane. I'm very torn on EV. And I know a lot of people in the comments have asked me in the past, where do I think Bronco will Bronco do like a plug-in hybrid? I hate plug-in hybrids. I think it's goofy. I think it's I would rather have a pure hybrid like what Toyota does, a gas mixture. But I don't know, man. I'm torn with Bronco in that.
Well, my thing is, I don't want, I would love for it to evolve into being what it could be, but I'm not interested in lowering my quality of life to meet it.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the bottom line.
And many people don't realize, you said a minute ago that the materials are that's not machine done.
Nope.
There's a good documentary out right now. You can see where these people in South America are by hand picking up this poisonous material.
Yes.
So it's basically the new blood. It's blood diamonds basically for your EVs, and including this stuff, man. These phones. Trust me, this is all. If you're an activist, I commend you for whatever you're headstrong about, but these are just as much poison to the world as anything else that we have right now.
Well, and we'll get back to Broncos, I guess. But I don't want to get too far off that thing, but you can't feel good about exporting your waste. Yes. So like I'm all about everything being clean. I love, one of the things that I learned at Texas Off Rodeo, Dave, I did not know this because I am a novice off-roader. I like driving fast. Now, that's why the fast course, the Fun Haver course there was so fun to me. But the tread lightly thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all, Gavin he does these projects where he around us, there's a couple streams and he uses the grabber so he doesn't touch
Mm-hmm.
it, but he bags up trash.
Is that where y'all were doing the fishing stuff?
Yeah, we were doing
magnet fishing?
no, magnet fishing is fun because, and yesterday, by the way, a little spoiler on a video he has dropping, he found a jewelry box that was thrown into water. So imagine
Nice.
that.
No, but that is cleaning up your environment.
So yeah, something that is not like fishing lures that he can repurpose and use them, he throws it in the trash. So he's cleaning up, but he does these grabber things, and he's so he loves being outdoors. He also loves hot rods. He loves gas engines. Like he's that. I don't know. He loves the ice stuff. He thinks the EV's cool, but he cares genuinely about nature, and I hope he got that from me, because so do I.
Yeah.
And so we do these adventures. So we're not like, gas, smoke, running over the plants in the wild. That's like some people try to, paint you as that. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like when we go out there, we're on the trail. And when I learned to tread lightly stuff, I had no idea about some of the stuff that you learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been a big supporter of tread lightly for a long time.
So I think it's cool stuff, So I think there's
the whole stay the trail stuff in Colorado that they have going on I'm a big fan of that as well.
I think everybody just needs to hold their own and say, yes, we love going out and having fun, but we're doing it where it's been designated to do it, right? You're not, and I think that's the best part about most of us, I'm sure, go out and respect nature, right? Because we love it out there. There's no news. There's no politics.
Generally no politics.
Right. It's just, hopefully if there's politics, it's like leave, get off the mountain or something. And it's just fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I kind of getting back into the Supercell, but that's you'll see a lot of I want to say tread lightly. Of course, Bronco Nation is big with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Chase Gentry, who we had on last week. I was surprised to hear how he was doing. He got grants from Ford for donations, and he used it for Texas, and they were doing some cleanups for the turtles and stuff like that, which was really cool. I will say the off-road community generally, they get a black eye for not good reasons, because I know a lot of people that I'll go to my way, especially if I was in my pickup truck at Windrock. There's beer can, all over the place. And I won't say it's trashed looking, but you'll find it. And I would throw it in the back of my truck, and just we usually, even on our Kelly's Xterra that she had, we kept a trasharoo in the back tire, and we would throw garbage in there, and at the end of the day just throw it away. So I'm very happy, and Ford seems to be very committed as well to with their I can't think of it at the time, but they have their giving back section for the trails and parks and stuff, which is very cool. They did that. What was it? What was that real light green and white Bronco they did?
It was like the fire.
Yeah.
That
was really
like
cool.
Lime green and white.
Mm-hmm. That was very cool. But I know Bronco Nation will be at the deal, and I've grown nice and play nice with Bronco Nation now. Me and Jordan are like this now, guys. We're buddies. We're pals.
You have to tell me. You'll have to tell me how that happened off the air.
I'll tell you on air. I just, I sometimes if you guys
You're
want
diplomatic, Dave.
Sometimes I'm an asshole. Like, there's no doubt. Like, sorry, Duane.
I didn't say that. You almost.
No. I know,
Dang.
But in this field, you have to use all your resources, and they've been a resource in the past for things I find out about, or I watch theirs like everybody else, and you find out things. So you got to play nice a little bit. And Jordan was I will say this, he could have came on the show, and I could have been my normal dickhead self about some of that stuff, and he would have never come on the show again. And there would have been it would have been a fun gotcha moment for me of like, oh, look, I got Bronco Nation. But for what? At the end of the day, they're doing their thing. You're doing your thing. I'm doing my thing. And we're all enjoying Broncos. So,
well, you know what? If you ever go to an event where there's Bronco Nation, they're hosting a breakfast. There are some awesome pancakes being cooked up by Mr. P there. I tell you what, it's really fun. And to sit around a campfire, like that, and you're around like-minded people, Bronco stuff. By the way, did I read something that no fires allowed at Supercell?
That I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I don't want to put that. I mean, just asking.
Somebody in the
I mean,
chat,
like,
if you comment up, if you do know that.
yeah, if you know, because you remember the first time there, the 6th gen before anybody owned one, then Ford had the ones that ended up in Texas were there for the ride-alongs, and we had a nice campfire going that night, or whatever you want to call it, campfire, bonfire, whatever. But I didn't know if you could do those anymore, so it's interesting to see how that works. But it was a fun time. Gavin and I went. We were there for the first time. And we drove our Ford Explorer because, hey, we didn't have a Bronco.
Sure.
And it was just such just an awesome time. And then our Kyle, our driver, you could tell it wasn't his first time on a trail for sure. I mean, we were bouncing around and getting air. And I'm thinking, your first ride in the 6th-gen Bronco, you were leaving the ground. Like, this is cool. And the second time, well, we had our Bronco, right? So it was just made it. And like you were saying, the Supercells thing around that whole area, it's just fun stuff. So if you're on the fence about going, go ahead and reserve it, book it, make it happen.
Yep. And there is lots to do there. Let's see. Joshua says, my question is, can I stay even though it'll be another year before I get my Bronco? I will say this. If you go, it will help your Bronco fix a little bit. It might make it worse a little bit in the end. But like ours, I have the doors are open on my Bronco. It'll be in our display. You can get in it, do whatever you want. I've let people drive my Bronco, Duane. I don't know if you saw that when we were in Michigan. We threw the keys to Gia and it was like, hey, go have fun. And they were off-roading my Bronco. Like these aren't precious to me. I love to make somebody happy if that's their first time getting to sit in one, play with the radio, whatever you want to do. Like our Bronco's there to be fondled, we'll say.
Yeah. Well, you found out the maximum, what do you want to call it, load capacity for your Bronco? People wise?
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. We had a full crew in that one. But no, so the event is great too. So if you've got one coming, go ahead and buy like the little foot pegs. IAG sells these little foot pegs and they're finally cheap or affordable. Like there for a while, RTR, who makes amazing products, theirs were ridiculously expensive. Their foot pegs. I mean, what was it? It seemed like it was a couple $100.
Yeah. And
I remember getting these for my Jeep being like, well, that was $20. Like I'm not paying a couple $100 for something that'll eventually come down. And I know IAG Off-Road has some. They'll have all that stuff where you can buy that stuff. And there was people doing that last year that would go to these booths or these displays that may not have theirs yet, but they were buying it, getting their parts ready. Because guess what? What is $20 this year? Next year is probably $30.
Oh, so. Yes. Yeah. Well, overall, inflation's trying to cool off a little bit. We'll see if it sustains, but it's still higher than it was last year. And by the way, something else about Supercell, you'll meet some really cool people. Bronco 78, we mentioned Andrea earlier. Bronco 78 was someone that we met over the chat doing our live stream, right? And seeing him on your show.
Craig's an awesome dude.
Yeah, Craig's a great guy, and he's invited us down, maybe springtime to do some service road riding, and who knows, maybe we'll stay out there and stuff like that. That's the kind of people, and we're going to take them up on it this year. But that's the kind of people that you meet there. It's just, I got to tell you, if you want to be part of a community that is just awesome, and I'm a people person anyway, but that doesn't mean I like everyone everywhere I go. I mean, I try to. Supercell is just a bunch of fun people. It's just a good time. And if the sun's out, you'll get a good tan there on top of the mountain.
Man, last year, I will say that if you're coming from where they haven't, if you're coming from up north where you don't see sunshine until June, bring tan or sunblock, because I will say this: you guys always see the backwards hat on me, and I've always worn my hat this way. I could not find my hat last year, so we loaded in. We got our stuff at our Airbnb, and I could not find a hat. And yeah, my head was roasted. And then like the last day I found my hats, and I had like 2 hats I took, and it was funny, but me and Kelly both were under our tent still frying, man. So definitely sunscreen.
Yeah. You get the windburn stuff happening too, I think. I don't know. When you and I did the walk around of the Eruption Green Raptor, I think we were pretty fried there. That was what, the second or third day. So it was like, but yeah, it's fun, just a fun time. And I don't know what the presence Ford's going to have this year. Do you think they'll have anything big there?
Bronco Nation's coming. So they told us in our chat a couple weeks ago, Jordan said, and then they confirmed it on their live stream last week that they would have a presence. I want to say they might have a camp area this year, which might be kind of fun. So if you want to do any kind of camping, they may have a corral for that. I'm not 100% on that.
They did the yurts at Overland East.
Mm-hmm.
The night almost froze to death. Yeah. Let me tell you, folks. And Bronco 78 just said, you'll never know what you get, hot, sun, or cold, rain, or whatever. I went to Overland East this year. Remember, I'm a novice camper, novice off-roader, right? I'm learning. Right. I get it. And I went there, and the weather said low 40s. All right, cool. My sleeping bag, everything I had was great. Gavin wasn't with me. We'd have stayed at a hotel if he was with me. I get there, and we set up camp. And then later that evening, after the vendors had closed, so I couldn't get these electric blankets or whatever, it's going to be like 30 tonight. Like, you got to be kidding me. And I'll never, I heard you, I know you've heard me tell the story on my channel. I woke up at 5 a.m. and I thought I was probably a degree away from dying. And so it was all I could do. It was all I could do to crank up the Bronco. And you know how the lights come on, right? You get, the ringing bars come on. Mm-hmm. So I crank it up. You can hear it running. I'm like, well, I hope nobody gets mad at me, but I can't help it. I'm cold. So I let it heat up. And then I got out of the yurt there that Bronco Nation supplied. And I got in the Bronco and I fell asleep and it ran for who knows how long. Good thing they don't have an oiling issue at idle.
Right.
And I woke up to these lights, and you ever see that movie Snow Day? The snowplow, like blasting down the road. The truck shows up to empty the porta potties. And there I am worried about the Bronco running, waking someone else. This guy pulls up, air brakes blowing off the pressure, the lights on. He's washing these things out, the pump's running. And it was just the noise you would, it was incredible. And I was thinking to myself, well, geez, they're not going to be mad at me now. It'll be this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to warm up. So I got to say, and Bronco 78 said it, go prepared for hot or go prepared for cold. You just never know.
Yeah. You have a story like I did that in 9. I was laid off. I was going back to school. I was going to MTSU here, and we had a break coming up and had no business taking my vehicle to Windrock, but I went a few times before that, right before I got laid off, and was having a blast over there. And yeah, I told Kelly, I kept bugging her all day. Hey, I really want to go to Windrock. She just was like, just go. So I grabbed my son, I grabbed a sleeping bag in our tent, and that was it. And not realizing we're at 650 elevation here. You're getting into 1,500, 2,000 feet elevation over there. And that makes a difference in temperature. And I was freezing, and I had this big 8-person tent for 3 people there, and the littler tents will keep some body heat in a little bit. This was not going to help at all. And me and my son kept scooting closer and closer to me, and we're sleeping on the tent on the ground. I was dumb enough. I didn't take anything other than a sleeping bag. And so finally I'm like, come on, kid, like, let's bundle up and keep warm. Finally, I did what you did. I got in my truck, started it, and then I got paranoid of falling asleep with it running and then something happening. So I never slept that whole night.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, I dozed off, and when I woke up, I was like, wow, that was stress, because
sure.
And I didn't go prepared for it. And luckily I've worked outside most of my life, so I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. But when you're sleeping, it's another story, things slow down. But I have to say that, and like you said, Craig said it well, go prepared for hot sun. I mean, look at the weather, right? If they're predicting 80 degrees, the chance it's going to be 20 is like, not there. Yeah. But still, it could be just cold enough that you took all short sleeves and suddenly now, and especially at night in April, even if you have those hot days, it's going to get cool at night.
Yep. Yeah. No, East Tennessee is weather patterns all over the place. I usually I'll watch the 15-day forecast like a hawk.
I was going to show you this, by the way. I had to put this on tonight, by the way. This is a Smoky Mountain Sasquatch.
Oh, nice.
So right across from the event, there's a little shop there, and I got this hat from another place down the road, but it's just stuff like this you can buy anywhere down Wares Valley Road.
Do you think that Jeep shop that's down there at the corner of Wares Valley, do you think they'll ever add some Bronco stuff? Because clearly Supercell's not going away. And for Jeep events, when I was at Jeep Invasion, which is in Gatlinburg, or what's in Pigeon Forge at the big convention center they have. But the Jeep thing that's in Townsend, they have a big thing, and people come from miles to buy their shirts and stuff. I mean, eventually that store there has to kind of kick in, right, and add some Bronco stuff.
You would think, because if you're in business, like if you're there for just a cause, right, and Jeep's your cause, well, then maybe not. But if you're really in it for business and to serve others, and see, a lot of people, when they get into business, this is what we coach people on a lot, is it's not just to make money, right? You're there to serve, and the result of serving people properly ends up making you money. And so you would think that, yeah, you would offer the Bronco stuff, you would offer the Jeep stuff, right? You'd have it all right there. I think they might. Bronco's here to stay. There's going to be different trims. I think Gavin and I almost did this video where we said there needs to be 5 trims and not 10. And I was like, no, that's not the way Ford wants to do it. Ford wants a sub brand, Bronco to be a sub brand, like Mustang, like F Series, E Series, or Transit now. So if you think about it, how can you be a brand, even if you're a sub brand, with 5 trims? You've got to have more. You got to have more selection. You got to have more colors.
Colors.
Colors. Yeah. And I think that what Ford may have a problem with is if the new Ranger is as popular, I think at least I think it is. I'm not going to speak for you. I think it's going to be a hot seller. How are they going to build? They have the Ranger and they have the Bronco built at map. How are they going to be able to meet demand? Getting back to that Jeep place, right? They should grow into the Bronco space, but how does Ford continue to grow to supply the market?
Well, I don't think map can grow much more. I mean, that's as far as manufacturing, that's a small place. You've seen it,
right?
You've driven from it. There ain't a ton of room because it's literally a town's built up around it now. Where that was at Warren, I think, is where it's at.
Wayne.
Wayne, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think eventually probably Ranger goes to Mexico. I mean, the Ranger is going to be a higher volume seller for Ford anyways versus Bronco.
Right.
Not trying to upset any Bronco people. That's just trucks are going to outsell, a sports utility vehicle.
Sure.
So, Toyota's already made the push to take Tacoma to Mexico. They're building those now. It has freed up for Toyota. It's freed up where they build in Texas. It's freed up for Tundra to do more volume. Sequoia now to do more volume. So I think, Jeep where it's at in Toledo, they have a lot of room. That's a massive plant. It's not the biggest in North America, but it's one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And, they're able to build a couple things there because they had room to expand. You got the Gladiator now. And if Ford is ever going to do something in that setting, do they keep that at map or do they build that at a new plant? I know Ford has this weird thing with, it's got to be, we've always built Bronco at this plant, but at some point the Bronco is going to outgrow that plant. And I hope they would never take the Bronco to Mexico. But that could happen too, because you take a hot selling vehicle like Bronco to Mexico where it's cheaper labor, profits, man. So
right.
I don't know with Bronco. I've said for a while that one of those have to give.
Yeah. Because here's my theory, it seems like maybe this is anecdotal, but there's more Broncos being shipped, being manufactured. The numbers are going up, but we've also said, well, yeah, everyone knows what the new Ranger is going to be. So maybe they're not buying the 23 as much. So they're not building as many, right? So there's more available time and line for the Bronco. And then I thought, I was hearing there's a shortage on tops again. And maybe it's, the top manufacturers still doing what they were doing. It's just that they're able to build so many more Broncos. Are they now starting to run the suppliers a little dry? Right. Yeah. So there may be some of that in there, a lot of moving parts.
Well, and I've mentioned on the show quite a bit is, the Sasquatch problem they're having right now is only tires. It's the
it's not like suspend. Yeah.
It's the goofiness that Ford cannot have Wrangler on the side of that tire. It's a specialty built tire that's already a specialty built tire for a few other brands. And you're not on the priority list. If I've got Dodge or Ram with TRX using that tire, I've got Hummer EV using that tire. There's, I think, another Chevy brand that's online that's going to use that tire. Like the priority of Goodyear to be like, now let's stop production so we can build just the Goodyear version of this. That's the big problem for Sasquatch. What I think Ford's going to have to adapt to, either find a different tire to use that's not Goodyear Wrangler. There's a few things like that. Obviously hard tops, the second plant, I haven't heard any news about it in a long time, and I haven't had any my little birdies talk to me about this. Is that there's a second plant that for Wabastos was supposed to have up and running. I have heard that what they're running right now would surprise you. The tops they're running. There was supposed to be a third or a second manufacturer for a third plant for hard tops of that. Been real quiet on that front. I don't know what's going on with that. And then I'm hearing rumors that even soft top right now, there might be a next gen soft top that there's a lot of problems with that top. So Ford's got a lot to deal with the Bronco, which was to be expected. There's no perfection. I know people with Bronco want to, especially with tops, they want to fuss and be like, well, Jeep does it. Jeep's done these style hard tops for 25 years.
Right.
Jeep has, there's a history. They've went through the growing pains of this top. Trust me, those early tops, especially the dual tops that they were doing with the Freedom panels they do now, there was a lot of leakage early on with those. They figured that problem out. So Ford will get to that. And I think if they were to just take MAP and build Broncos, we would really, you could do like you're talking about, making it its own brand, having a couple different specialties, and go from there.
Well, do you think, first of all, when Ford launched the Bronco, was the best of times to launch it as far as marketability, people sitting at home, and you think, well, you're locked up at home, you want to go out in the wild, and there's a vehicle to do it in. So that was great. But the problem is the same people sitting at home on the couch with you were the people making the parts and the vehicles. So then it was the worst of times to launch a vehicle for actually getting it made.
Right.
You think Ford has an exclusive agreement with Goodyear for the Bronco and the Sasquatch, or could they offer an optional secondary tire?
Well, there's contracts for that stuff. Yeah, there's definitely, hey, for so many years we'll buy that tire. I would look to why so Ford has a good relationship with BF Goodrich. Obviously, all the Raptors, that's what they come with. Ford acknowledges that's probably the best overall tire for that vehicle. They've brought that into Raptor with Bronco. They even do BF Goodrich for the normal Badlands, the 33-inch tire. Why they haven't across the board just moved to that, I don't know. At some point the Raptor now is going to move to the new KO3. We've seen so many. They're running that tire at MAP now for the Ranger Raptors that they're through trials. I would think that some of those tires, maybe that was part of the problem with and this is pure speculation. Maybe that was part of the problem why they reached out to Goodyear, was they knew BFG was in the midst of changeover for a different style tire. And maybe it was just to but if you look at the tire lineup as a whole, it doesn't make sense.
There's a lot of brands out there.
Like 4 different brands, it seems like, of tire.
Well, there's Firestone on the non-Sasquatch Outer Banks. I know that.
Okay. What, the Duelers or whatever?
I don't know the style, but it's a Firestone, or was it Firestone or Bridgestone? Maybe it was
Bridgestone.
It's Bridgestone. Yeah. I'm sorry. And they're one and the same, I think, but Bridgestone. Yeah. And we've had Bridgestones before and we were happy with them. I mean, not a performance tire or anything like that. We just had it on a regular vehicle and we loved the tire, honestly.
Right.
So
Lifestyle Off-Road was talking about tires here. Nobody else makes a C range 35-inch tire, and the C load is what he's talking about, which part of that is they want the ride quality. So yes. They're making a thinner sidewall so it rides comfortable. It's somewhat capable. But yeah, no, when I moved up to the KM3s, they're D range tires. So there's the thicker sidewall.
Well, and if you think about it, I know there's people out there on the camp of it sounds great, I don't care, which is me. And then the other, they're too loud, I can't stand it. And then the rock issue. We've had, I think the green Bronco, the 22s had one major rock ding to the side, and my 21 somehow took a rock hit directly below the door handle on the passenger side. But that's it. And so we're either really lucky or we just haven't had a unusual issue with it. But I like the Goodyears on I think they ride well. I think for what we do in the sand, which is most of what we do.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're probably not the best in the mud. You can imagine all those grooves being packed with mud, right? But in the Outer Banks, when you go down there, there's no issues.
No, it's not a bad tire. Is it the best tire in my opinion? No. I personally, I'm a BF Goodrich snob, so I'm probably going to lean that way. I acknowledge there's Nitto. There's a bunch of different tire manufacturers out there. It's a soft tire though. So what is the green? How many miles do you have on the green one right now?
Oh, last time I said it, I got it wrong. We're approaching 20, if we're not 20,000.
Have you seen
And
any cupping?
11,000 on the green one or the blue one.
Have you seen any cupping on that tire?
There's a slight bit of cupping, and I'll tell you, yeah, on the outer edges, it's uniform at least on the right, on the front outer edges. There's a little bit of cupping. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine at 14,000 or whatever I had on mine, definitely they were cupping, and I had rotated them once. I think that might be, I don't know. Like Peugeot said, where was this? He says, drive behind, pull this up here. Drive behind a Bronco with those Goodyear tires, and you will tire of it quickly, because they do grab the weird
they do
typing of them and stuff. They grab little rocks like crazy.
Yeah. Well, I said we didn't take too many hits on the body. Now the people behind us, I can't tell you how many windshields are gone. But we'll see. I could imagine if you were riding behind us, you might not like it that well, but whatever. But as far as the ride is concerned, I really think it's a comfortable ride, of course, along with the IFS in the front,
Yeah.
Now the IFS, of course, you hear the issues when you're, doing some rock crawling or you really go big on the tire. But for us, for where we go, the size tire we're going to have, we don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, no, I will say though, I don't know if you saw the video we did of the TC Customs Outer Banks that one of our viewers stopped by and had done. Dude, that thing on 37s, and he had, I want to say, about a 3.5-inch lift on it. Once you see one that makes your Sasquatch look small,
yeah,
it does instantly go. You get the FOMO, and you're like, I might need.
Well, see, Andrea needs to park like 4 or 5 Broncos away from us, so we don't feel that way, because he's going to have like the Bronco,
Right?
Yeah, no, I get it, because you do get that. It's like you compare your. The meme where it shows the people in the balcony, the one where it's like, let them eat cake or something, or whatever the thing is. And that's kind of how you feel in a Sasquatch Bronco. And then there's one on 37s next to you. It's like, oh, man.
Oh yeah. No, I was, cause I was changing a thumbnail of the picture of that video today. And I have a picture of the cameras facing mine, and you can see it in the background. You just see how much taller it is. Now I will say, the CV angles on it was, I probably would have dropped it down at least a 1/2 inch I think that some of these, and I'm not going to bash TC Customs, because Mitchell's been super nice to us, but I will say maybe they over cranked. I would have brought it down just slightly to get a little bit better CV angles on that thing. You think
they're going to be in a bind in a hard torque situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to wear it prematurely. Yeah. You'll definitely wear those, but
it looks good, doesn't it?
It sure does. But this guy that has it, he's an off-roader, so he'll probably make some adjustments to it. But he couldn't get the Sasquatch package, so they got what they could get. And obviously a lot of Ford dealerships will do it. They'll customize these things to your liking. So it looked really nice.
Well,
he had the third brake light. Where are you at with that third brake light and the ring in the tire?
I think it's cool. I think somebody posted on Bronco 6G one time, well, I did the Jeep upgrade or something like that. I don't hate it. I don't think I'll spend my money on doing it, but then again, maybe I do, because I will say it does add a lot, to the back.
So I've never been a fan of it. And then when I saw it on this gentleman's truck, the idea that I can get rid of the third brake light now
up high, yeah,
and it just gives you just a couple more inches of viewing out the back of your vehicle, kind of made sense to me. So we did order Kelly one for her Bronco, and interested on that.
Like I said, I don't hate them. I just I didn't see myself doing it. But I will say this: if you go to 37s, right, and then you have to buy the extension for the third brake light, well, then why not? Right, definitely do it when you do that.
It seems like that might have been a thing Ford should have just done.
Right. Yeah.
It's definitely in line with racing. those little the way they do those race lights like that, it's in line with desert racing, so it would be kind of like a heritage though
Sure.
to that, the nod to racing of it.
Kind of that throwback. You know, the worst case scenario I think is approaching Becky and I, and that's with if we don't lose our order, because we were a last day possible order conversion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had this order in there. It's like, do you want a Raptor? It's like, well, you know, let someone else, you know, pick. And there was 2 allocated and there was 1 take. I'm like,
Right.
well, heck yeah. So we secured it last possible day. So we are one of the last orders in, you know, at least the last day.
Mm-hmm.
The worst case scenario happens is if we don't lose our order on the 27th of March, then what happens is the Broncos shows up in August, and so does the Dark Horse.
Which do you keep then?
Dark Horse.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
you
you
have
got
2
Bronco.
Broncos. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
2 Broncos now. You don't have a Dark Horse, so or you don't have a new Mustang. You know, so that's the worst case scenario I see happening. You know, because we thought really we'd have had it by now.
And I would have thought you would have had it by now. Yeah.
Yeah, just no news, and that's kind of like, you know, but that it's, you know, it's reality, and I mean, it's definitely not the dealer's fault. It's just, you know, when we received our 21, it was because of, and I don't know where he went, but remember the Bronco brand manager, Esteban. He said on a live stream one day, he said, if you don't have a build date and you have a hard top, you're done for 21. You'll be in a 22.
Yeah.
So we converted, and 2 weeks later we had our build date, or a week later, something like that. It was pretty simple. The 22 showed up. It was built the first week of 22, because that, you know, that whole thing there, when we turned that order loose, the Bronco Raptor's been elusive.
Yes. Well, I think they stopped building them for a little bit.
They did. They had that fender or something issue, or whatever it was. But we'll see.
Andy says, I'm not going to bash. He's talking about me, of course. I'm not going to bash TC Customs and starts firing a 50 cal. No. I just think that might be a new, some of the text to this, even though I'm sure TC's built several Broncos now. It just might be one of those things that are slightly overlooked, or they do it to get 37s under the vehicle.
Did they do anything different with the tie rods?
Yeah, they were aftermarket tie rods.
Okay.
It was I can't remember the lift at the top of my head, but it had a different upper control arms. I believe they put a spacer in with the upper control arms. I think it still had the factory coils, and I know definitely it had a lot bigger tie rods in the thing. Pretty good build overall. Like I said, I'm not bashing the vehicle. I just think I know how I off-road and how I would probably damage that quickly.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and Cigar Texan, thanks for that. Yeah. Esteban Plaza Jennings, thank you for that. And Bronco 78. Yeah. You know, there again, I will not complain, because we do have 2 Broncos. People out there don't have one yet.
Yeah.
No complaining. I'm just talking, you know, but the Dark Horse is something that, you know, that will happen. That is just a hot rod. And we could dive deep into that on another show, I guess. But I think Ford, to get around the MPG, the energy, the gas miles, the MPG stuff, they're building the engine sort of like the Predator inside with the forged piston and rods.
Mm-hmm.
I think so that the dealer options, I've heard rumors of dealer installed turbos or superchargers to get it back up to the mid 750 to say 800 horsepower range.
Right.
So be pretty cool. You imagine on the Bronco Raptor, do they ever do something, you know, with that? Getting back to TC Customs real quick, I'll make it clear.
Yeah.
I did talk to someone online. They were messaging back and forth, and they bought a Bronco from them. And I'll tell you, never been happier with the service, with the communication. They flew down, they got their Bronco, they loved it. They were just super ecstatic. And I think I bought a bunch of aftermarket stuff when we were there. So
yeah,
definitely good folks down there.
Somebody had called Mitchell a tool or something in that video that I had posted. And look, man, the guy's a car salesman. Yes. like that's the family business is selling Fords. So at some point, yes, he's in the business of promoting these vehicles to sell them. But Mitchell offline has been the same person that you see online.
Yeah,
I've had private conversations with him. You know, he seems like just the guy. You know, we met him at Supercell. He was very nice. He was having some fun with us in our video. But I talked to him privately there about some aftermarket stuff, some companies that they were not happy with, that they were asking my opinion of like, hey, what do you think of this company? And so I gave him my opinion, and he didn't have to do that. If he was some ego driven car salesman, they're always right. Trust me.
I'll tell you firsthand knowledge. He's a busy guy that everybody and their mother wants to talk to him. And Gavin's like, can we do a review of your Bronco? He's like, absolutely. Let's do it. That's who he is.
Yeah, no, he was very, very nice at that.
Oh yeah. Good guy.
But anyway, what do you think? I was about to say that if you guys, we've had upwards of 90 to 100 people in tonight's chat and only 50 likes. If you guys would smash that like button for me, the algorithm appreciates it, and I even more appreciate it. So if you would do that, I would greatly appreciate that and say thank you. Payment enough. I have to mention this real quick. We have memberships on the channel. I haven't mentioned this in a long time. I have 2 versions now. So we have a normal $5, whatever it is a month membership. It's to help support the channel. You get special badges, you get special things in the chats if you want to do. We also have now done a $9.99 membership a month, and I call it the travel fund. And it's literally, if you just want, I've had people ask, hey, I don't like Patreon. We want to do more. Only reason I did that. Mark is my first guy on that. So thank you, Mark, for that. We also have a Patreon. It's in the description if you guys ever want to support us that way. And we have gear. Go to allterrainnation.com. We have all kinds of gear there if you want to. But ultimately, thank you for being a part of the show. And even like go on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday nights, Duane, that your show is?
Wednesday night. This Wednesday will be 8:30, but maybe switching to 9. But yeah, 8:30 Wednesday nights.
Duane, I think Duane needs to go back to Sunday nights. I think that was the classic time for your show.
Are you serious?
That was good for me. I'll say that. I would be sitting around unless.
Well, if it was good for you, let's just.
No. I mean, like, unless Last of Us or 1933 or whatever it is shows on. No, then it's not good for me. But
no, I'm either competing with Bronco Nation or Yellowstone. Okay, like I'm in a no-win situation here.
Well, I mean, that's true. No, but go check out Duane's channel on that. His live streams are fun. You're very informative of what you do. You like you build motors, or you used to build motors a lot. So you have you're a lot more knowledgeable on that. You understand the breakdown of how turbos work. You've talked about. I'm still not on the oil catch can bandwagon just yet, Duane. I know you're not.
Come on, man.
But I don't run my Bronco like a sports car either.
I'm gonna mail you some old crusted up carbonized valves, the UPS, so you can look at them for yourself.
Well, so me and Esther thought. So on Saturdays, if you guys don't know, I do a mid-sized truck show because of the whole, Allie and me trying to get the #1 Raptor from Brighton Ford. But I love mid-sized trucks. Kelly loves the SUV off-road SUVs. I've always liked wheeling mid-sized trucks. And it's probably why our marriage works well. But and I'm not saying I don't love Bronco. Don't get me wrong. I love our Bronco. But so me and Esther thought we're talking Saturday morning about oil, because it was funny. We both have had people in our channels come into us talking about, and you've seen it on Bronco 6G especially. I've seen them like get in heated debates about oil changes. I remember when people were getting their first Broncos, they were talking, oh man, first 1,000 miles, I've got to change my oil. And I'm like, I'm not changing my oil at that. And then there's a 3,000 mile, I changed it 3,000 miles. Well, most oils that they put in us now are all synthetics from the factory. So 5,000 is what synthetics used to be. Well, Ford recommends 10,000 miles, which I've had people commenting in my videos about, like, freaking out about 10,000 miles. And there were some good comments about in that chat because, people are like pro and con about it. And this will tie into your catch can deal, which is they're like, well, do you trust everything the manufacturer does? And I'm like, well, they built and designed this thing. Are there
Right.
variables where sometimes I let it go to 10,000 and that was a detonation point for the oil? It broke down so much. Could be. I also don't run Mobil 1 or whoever, what oil you put in your vehicle. There's always a chance that they had a bad run of oil. So be it. But it was funny to me that oil is like one of these things for Broncos that people just go nuts about. And of course, like I was saying, you're very knowledgeable. You've built motors. I've built some old Chevy 350s, but I wouldn't trust me to put it in your vehicle. Trust me, I'll be fine and blow it up and be done with it. But I'm around an 8,000-mile oil change. For where are you at with that, Duane?
Okay, so my first oil change, and I think was 1,800, and I wanted to do it to see how much metal was in the filter because you would expect some there.
Yeah.
There was aluminum too. It wasn't it wasn't the cast iron block. It because in the 2.7 you have cast iron and aluminum. It was aluminum shavings, which is all normal, caught in the filter, nothing past it. So I wanted to get that out. So I felt good about that decision. The other thing, though, is it's a synthetic blend. And the difference is you have perfectly formed molecules and imperfectly formed molecules. Non-synthetic oils tend to tan engines a little bit more. You see the staining, which is a result of the oil darkening. Here's the deal. It's a boosted engine. And if you're driving it with any kind of foot in the pedal, you're creating you're creating boost. Now, whether you're at 2 pounds or you're 8 or whatever you're at.
Right.
And how long is that duration? Now, there is one misconception out there is, yes, the 2.7 is dual injection, but you have to understand how it works. The port injection is only low RPMs or low stress, right? So it's the low RPMs as you're idling or slowly accelerating. As you build boost, you're definitely in the direct injector, which is right into the cylinder. So you don't have the luxury of anything spraying across the intake valve. So think about when you have your most crankcase pressure being built, and that's being built under boost. Now, there is something about the oil catch can that we have is when you're under boost, your intake now goes from a vacuum to a positive pressure, and the PCV valve closes. So they do make, which negates the oil catch can. But they do make an oil catch can that draws from the clean side and the dirty side. So under boost or not under boost. So here's what I say. Most of the driving, I'm not under boost. Most of the driving, I'm cruising on the road, interstate speed, maybe 2,000 RPMs with Sasquatch, right? I'm going 70. I know that any vapor that is being built in a crankcase is going to get caught in the filter and condense and fall into the can. None of that, well, I can't say none because there is some that gets by it, but a lot less will ever make it to the intake valve. And depending on, I don't know the exact RPM where it goes from port to direct, but at some point you switch over. You know what I mean? And I'm a big fan of full synthetic, even though on our Broncos we've stayed with the Motorcraft synthetic blend. But I'm a believer. When you take that can and you pour the oil out, it makes you feel good. You know, it didn't go back in the intake.
Yeah. Well, there was somebody I saw in one of the Facebook groups the other day was talking about they were putting a aftermarket diff cover on, and they were like, "Oh my God, that oil at 1,000 miles or whatever they had the Bronco." They're like, "I couldn't believe the condition of the diff fluid." And I was like, "Look, man, like that's made for 50,000 miles, or maybe 30,000. I forget what the interval is. Like you're in your head at that point going, I know best, and you're like, no."
Well, and then there's some forums out there that people talk about, in the 2.3, you have a different oil pump setup. You have a chain drive versus 2.7. It's a belt drive.
Mm-hmm.
And so so carbon in oil becomes your worst enemy. So, why is older oil worse? Well, because the more carbon you have, the more wear you're going to have on time and chain tensioners and other components, and maybe the belt, I don't know, but carbon really works on stuff. And I'm a believer that anything that you can do will help you in the end. Why not do it?
Right.
The Ford Tech Macaluco, I think is how you pronounce his channel on YouTube. He has a perfect example, a first gen 2.7 and a second gen 2.7. The first gen at 100,000 really has a lot of buildup in it. The second gen had about a third of it. So his estimate was, obviously when you get toward the 175, 200 is when you're going to experience it there. But that was on the video that he has on his channel. Super, super smart tech, by the way. But, I look at that and say, well, it's still going to be there. Let's go ahead and just catch it. It doesn't hurt anything from what I'm not going to recommend anybody do it because, it's my Bronco. But I even asked the service manager at my dealership, if I do this and bring it in for any service or you guys don't have a problem with it, he said, absolutely not.
Yeah. I'm, as soon as you got into the, like 30 seconds into that, and I was like, right over my head.
I'm sorry.
No, no, I love, and that's what I want to tell people to go to your channel, because you really do like it or hate it, man. You bring the knowledge of some of that stuff.
Well,
and it's good. It's good knowledge. Like it's something that maybe people don't think about all the time, but maybe you should think about a little bit more. So go over to, I want to show it here. So this is Duane's channel. Go over to Driven Wild Outdoors. As you can see, there's the heritage we were talking about. A lot of shorts. Duane's been doing crazy shorts. Your Azure Gray video, I haven't got to watch this one just yet, but can you tell the people why they should watch this? What is the differences? What did you notice from that? And what's going on between that and Area 51?
So Azure Gray and Area 51, if you look at it on the Ford website, you think, well, why did they do it? I don't understand. It's real close. But the website doesn't show you the metallic look. So Azure Gray has a lot of metallic, and it's not just metallic. You have this pink and purple and silver flake in it. It is super wild. But when you see it in the sunlight, it brightens up. It's a rich looking color. It's really nice. And when the sun starts to settle, it actually changes in front of you. As the sun's going behind a cloud, it turns almost Area 51.
Right.
It's amazing. Not quite. It's still darker. But it's a cool color. And if you're a fan of metal flake paint, but you kind of like Area 51, Azure Gray is all you.
Nice. Well, and I seen you watched, you sneaky guy, you launched a Bronco weather radar on, I'm assuming that's part of the infotainment system, or?
A lot of people don't know you have that. So if you go, we did the video, dropped it tonight. If you go to your navigation and you click on the left-hand toolbar menu, and then you'll see weather at your destination. So where you're going, current weather, and then also radar. So you click on the radar, and if there's and today's video wasn't that great because you would think, well, it'd be nice if there was clouds there, right? You could see it, but today was clear. But I wanted to do the video, and we did a short the other day where I showed the radar on the screen. If you see that on my channel, and then I kind of held the camera up to see, yep, it's raining outside. You can see it there.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. So you see it on the radar. So it's pretty cool. So if you didn't know, if you know, you know. I think I said in the video, if you know, we'll carry on. But if you didn't know, there you go.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is figure out some of these nuances.
If you haven't seen Duane's channel yet, Driven Wild Outdoors, it used to be called Bronco Wild Outdoors. Go over, smash the subscribe button for Duane. He really breaks down the details. I'm more of the bigger news channel, and Duane likes to fine tooth that details on that. I have to say thank you for YouTube Car Spotters Guide. Thank you for that 1108, because you guys know I like crazy weird super chats. Like when you support the channel, it's fun for me. Anybody could do a $11 or $10, but choose to do a weird number with that. I appreciate that. And if you feel so kind, 1,021. That's a weird number. I'm just gonna say, Duane.
Yeah. I'm not saying, but I'm saying, yeah.
I'm playing. Of course.
Yeah. No, there's one thing, Dave, that you're so modest when it comes to your subscriptions and stuff like that. But I have to tell you, and I'm not speaking for you. I'm speaking as another YouTuber. But it takes a lot to do this, to travel, to get the footage, to edit it. It takes time away from other stuff. And so, when people like your content, if they want to contribute to your channel, look, that's great, because they're helping you to make this stuff happen. At least it helps me.
You're right.
And so
no,
I gotta say, yeah.
Trust me, I've tried it. Like tonight, we gave Johnny a super chat. I tried it when I can get on Dwayne's channel. I mean, he's in between me and Jordan, so it's a tough
Well,
battle sometime. But I tried to donate to Dwayne's channel.
Well, 1,021 is a using number, Dave. I'm just
I
saying.
know.
Okay.
Well, when I've got those big TFL numbers, then I can just easily just throw those big.
Speaking of TFL, did you know you were in the background of one of their videos? Did you see that?
I'm in that Ratty Rides. I'm in a bunch of those, man.
Hey, Joe Rady, man. I like Joe.
Yeah,
I'm going to
super
try to
nice
have
guy,
him on our
really nice
channel
guy.
one of these days. Yeah.
I was giving him a little bit of grief, so we got to the. This was the first chance for me to get to see the new Chevrolet Colorado.
Yep.
And I'm big on their Trail Boss package, and so me and Kelly were technically press isn't supposed to be into the displays until 9 a.m. We were there at 8. Nobody pays attention. They just go do their own thing. So we kind of had for a while, we kind of had the walk of the show pretty quiet. And we were doing a walk around. Me and Kelly were doing a walk around video of that and the Z71 Colorado. And yeah, Joe was sitting there patiently waiting. He didn't. Some of these press people will be just jerks. They will get right in your shot. They will just, the feeling. You remember Supercell last year.
Oh, yeah.
They will just, that's how it works, is they will just, like, they don't care. They'll just do whatever. And it is a dog eat dog world. So some of that you just have to put up with. But Joe and his wife were very patient. They sat there, and I told Joe, I was like, hey, you got to let the little dogs have a little taste of the
fame.
Yeah. Because I'm sure Joe's already got 100,000 views on that video that I've got 6,000 on. So, but Joe was very nice. I've met him twice. I met him in Texas one other time. Very nice guy. And I like his channel. I like his
when I'm looking at a new model sometime, Dave, I'm looking at the armor of the glove. I'm thinking, how many Twinkies will it hold? Right. That's his thing.
Yeah.
The Twinkie storage.
Oh, which is
then
very fun.
You know who this is?
Oh,
this.
Oh no, Doug. Yeah, but
Doug just hit one out of the park with his cars and bids. Did you see that?
$37 million.
$37 million. Good for him.
Hard work though. That dude is a hardworking dude. I've got to talk to Doug on Facebook a little bit in some press groups I'm in. Doug is funny because he will piss these older school press people, the paper press or the magazine press. Magazine press think they're on a different level.
Sure.
I had an issue with them in Chicago when I was at the Trail Boss truck. There was some being very annoying purposely to me and Kelly. And Doug would, in those situations, like Doug privately will just poke those people and just piss them off, which is kind of funny. Bronco dude had a thing here. Dave, I want to see some billboard gear on the site. Let's go, dude. I wrote it down, so it's on the thing. As soon as you said that, I have an idea for a t-shirt. That the billboard, and instead of maybe Everglades, maybe it just says All Terrain Nation or something there. I'll try some of this stuff. I'll be honest, guys. Some of this gear, I'm a pretty creative person, and I have a sketchbook of them. I'm sketching out ideas all the time. T-shirts and hats are so expensive. Like these here. So these are the prototype hat that we've come up with.
Oh, check that out.
I'm not completely happy with it yet. I want the logo a little bit small. I think it's just obnoxiously too big. And I want the logo on the back because I wear my hat. I want a little version like this.
Yeah.
Like much kind of like this. I want a smaller logo.
There you go.
So, but since the pandemic, shirts and hats and stuff have went through the roof for cost. A t-shirt, some printed t-shirts can run you $4 to $15 per printed shirt.
Right.
That's a lot of money when everybody goes, well, hey, do you have a XL or do you have a small or do you have a 2XL? And you're like, look, man, this show, the way I run my business is this show has to fund anything this show does.
Yep.
So my travel and stuff, I have a company card that I put most of my travel on, and this show has to pay that off.
Yeah.
So some of this, I have so many ideas of this stuff I want to do, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at shirts for Supercell, and last year we did some, and they're not my best thought out shirt, I'll be honest, but I ate probably $300 plus the booth at Supercell plus travel stay. Like it's expensive.
It is.
So I have all these ideas I want to do. So be patient with me. That's why we're using Teespring right now for some of this, is because I get a little bit of the tiny little bit of the profit, but they ship it right to you. They print it and just ship it to you. So
Yeah, there's several
I'm
of those
working with
companies
stuff.
out there that work great. By the way, I didn't tell you, I had press passes lined up for Chicago, but I couldn't make it due to a last minute business thing.
Oh, that would have been a
So
nice surprise to see you in Chicago. I could have
I
introduced you
was
to a
going to
bunch of people.
surprise you and Jody there.
Yeah.
But I saw
I felt
your
bad with Jody. So Jody caught up with me at the Jeep press event.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there trying to get ready to film it. And here comes Jody. And I'm like, hey man, I wanted to do lunch with Jody. And sadly, like when I get into game mode for this stuff and I have till 5 p.m. to work, like I have to unfortunately work.
Yeah.
Try to get as many video ideas. I think we had about 6 videos come out of that. We could have done a lot more, but that makes a long day. And
Yeah, it
speaking
goes
of which, my
quick.
Kia van video is starting to take off, which I'm so happy about.
Your
There's
what?
the Kia Carnival. It's their little minivan. Was so much fun to be in. Me and Kelly did a walk around video on it. Go check it out. It's pretty fun. But yeah, no, like I felt bad that I didn't get to hang out with Jody much. And but no, I even like Jody just disappeared on me. I was like, well, he's just going to do his own thing. But I could definitely introduce you to a bunch of fun press people. You'd have a time of afterwards going and having a drink with some of these guys, hearing the fun stories of old trips they've went on is so much stuff.
You
I can't
hear all the old school
here.
stuff. Well,
Stuff
it's
I
like
can't, like talk about here.
Joe Rady. I was trying to connect with him in Detroit, but it was one of those things you pass by.
But if you see these guys, they're game. Like it's focus.
Yep.
And Joe was focused when he was watching me. I'm sure maybe he was picking up on what I'm talking about. Maybe he didn't want to purposely talk about what I'm talking about, or here's something that somebody's talking about. He sparks him. Very creative dude. And I didn't realize he was a teacher.
Was he wrong? Is he or was he?
He was a teacher.
Okay.
Oh no, I think he's nearing 1 million subs, so I don't think Joe's teaching.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't. I didn't. Well, I didn't know. I mean, I'm crazy enough to have 2 or 3 jobs, so I don't know. I just one of these days you need to like do one, and a YouTube channel. But yeah, I think these things. And you're right. You go there, you have limited time. There's a lot of other people trying to get the exact same footage, and it is harder. I tell everyone, why didn't I look at the tires on this one, or why didn't I see the rim? And eventually, I think you find a system that works for you, right? I mean, you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, no doubt on that. Let's see. Oh, Bronco dude, talking about the Kia. I was like, what Kia? Oh, I just mentioned Kia. Let's see. Wait, what we
it's
got
like
here?
Flying first class.
The All-Terrain Nation Friends T-shirt. That was a fun idea. When I sent that over to my buddy at Lifestyle Off-Road to print for me, he was like, "What are you doing, Friends T-shirt?" And even people locally that I showed, they were like, "I don't get it." But then we started. People really requested that. And speaking of what people are requesting, Miss Kelly Boyd has finally popped on. You'll need your mic. No, hey, Dave, trust me.
Dave, act busy.
You and Allie.
Act busy. The boss is here.
Yep.
Right.
All right.
What have you kids been doing?
We can talk seriously now.
Kids meaning Becky and I?
No, you two.
Oh, yeah. I thought you. Well, I'm trying to keep Dave out of trouble. I don't know if I've done my job or not.
Let's be honest, Dwayne. Whatever. You try to get him in trouble.
No, Dwayne's been very Dwayne's been a pro tonight. Yeah. Dwayne's been a pro, man.
Nice.
Well, Kelly, how are you?
About Chicago.
I'm good. Busy. Softball season has kicked off. So.
Oh, and that reminds me, everybody on here, Mondays can flip a little bit when we get into softball season.
Yeah, they get a little flexible.
So for the next till I guess June. We don't really kick until into March, somewhere in there. Just be ready that these dates can change. Mondays can change into some other day, maybe a Tuesday.
Because for those that don't know, I'm on the board of the softball league. He's an umpire with the softball league, and then glutton for punishment, we coach too. So we're kind of busy.
We love giving back to our community.
Dave, you get yelled at in the comments on your videos and on the field when you're right. So you're just
he chooses to be an umpire. He likes to go out there.
I love it.
Chaotic.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Cigar Texan says hello, Kelly.
Hi.
Better late than never, Jody says. But yeah, you and Hallie, they were like, hey, what's going on? Notice I put, look, Dave and maybe Kelly.
Oh gosh.
because I didn't know when you
No
were gonna be in.
pressure if I was gonna come in.
That's right.
I had to get the kiddos settled and stuff like that. You know, kind of had to parent for a minute.
So we had a request.
Uh-oh.
Where was it at? I may have unstarted. Oh wait, Bronco dude. He wants to see some billboard gear on the site. You know,
What is billboard?
Everglades.
Oh,
So I'm thinking we take the Everglades
and just
the
make a billboard.
but put All Terrain Nation where it says Everglades,
Yeah, you'd have to, because you have to be different enough.
Oh, yeah.
That it's not.
Ford, we love you. We love you, Ford.
Yes.
Yes. Don't be mad at me.
Calm down,
Yeah,
calm
they've been
down.
full of ideas.
But how's
Yeah.
Dwayne?
Dwayne is good now. Dwayne has had his head in a vice at work for the last few weeks. So yeah, life is good again, or getting better.
I'm sorry.
No, but no, everything's cool. We're talking about the Bronco, and I was talking to Dave about, let's try to figure out some of these things that are hidden in plain sight. Some people know about them, but they might not have a YouTube channel to talk about them. So we're trying to bring those up and getting ready for Supercell.
Nice.
And if you ever want to know about YouTube, we'll definitely help you out.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we got here?
YouTube
My
is
question.
fun.
My question is, can I stay through it? Or I've already answered that. I'm not used to not have.
You're not used to not having your
Yeah.
producer.
Do some of this stuff. I guess that's all the ones I've started right now. What do we got? Please, Kelly. Oh, making
Quality
the
of the
shirt.
show just went up.
Well, so I was telling the cost of some of the shirts and stuff, like why we don't do a lot more is because it's expensive.
And that's why you'll see a lot more on Teespring versus what you'll see on our site, because with Teespring, we don't have to hold inventory. But on our site, we actually have to do minimums, like printers have minimums and stuff like that. So
I know Supercell will definitely have some shirts. We'll have some stuff we've had. I've been buying stickers like crazy, so we're gonna have some interesting stickers.
Really? Just kidding.
Some stuff like that. But honestly, Supercell for us, we've mentioned this before. It's more about just getting to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
It's trust me, the booth cost me a lot of money. So I want you to come to hang out at our booth. And Kelly, I was telling him earlier, we may do I've been looking at those high top bar tables, the little plastic ones that fold down, and we may do a small bar with sipping with Dave. Just no, like
You better check and see what the alcohol rules are
Shh.
for the event.
Shh.
It's lemonade.
That's right.
Yeah, but you can't do sipping with Dave.
Well, Dwayne will get Bud Lights because I think that's what Dwayne drinks.
No.
Yeah, not there, I'm sure. Not unless they have it on tap, so they wouldn't let me.
Hey, I wouldn't be the first time I bought a keg.
Well, there is that.
We'll make it really sipping with Dave.
Yeah,
but
put some stickers. Speaking of stickers, when my Bronco went in to get the front drive shaft replaced, even though the one that came in was wrong, I asked the guy, I was like, hey, there was a vandal underneath my Bronco. Will you look around for some stickers or anything? And nobody's found anything. So I know you're just messing around with it.
No. Look under your front skid plate.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Unless it fell off.
No, but
I had Tim distracting you so I could get under your vehicle. I think I was pretending like I was filming something under your truck, and I slapped an All Terrain Nation sticker on your skid plate.
Nice. Well, he didn't tell me. He said, I didn't see anything.
It
I was
probably
like,
fell off.
I was like, this guy he's like, what was he doing? I was like, no, that's all right. I know him. He's like,
It's
okay.
in one of the streams that I did from that event. I was live streaming when I did it.
You just wait. I have a sticker for you. We'll bring it. It'll all be good. Yeah. Well, after you had a few of the sips with Dave event, you'll never know. We'll just.
They're saying Tito's with Kelly. Ooh.
Oh, that rhymes better. Sipping with Dave and Tito's with Kelly. Tim Bart says he'll love to introduce you to the wife. Awesome, Tim. And
Bronco 78 said check the video. It was there.
Yeah. Tim, if you would like to sign autographs, be sure to bring a headshot. You're more than welcome to hang out in my booth. We can schedule this up. We'll have there'll be a line, I'm telling you, around
I mean, you're welcome
Super
to be
Cel.
there the whole week.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm impressed. You've got the Tim Barts.
I know.
Watching your live stream. That's so cool. Hey, Tim. How are you, Tim? I'm a fan too. Sorry, Tim. No,
Tim would gladly be on your show.
No, he has really good content. I like straightforward, educational
Dwayne,
type.
Tim's a super nice guy, and I bet he would gladly be on your show.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now I like his content because we were talking. Well, I think Johnny was talking about it earlier. There's so much there's some garbage out there. There's some really good stuff out there, and then people that attempt it. And you get information on YouTube in selected places accurately, consistently, right? Tim's got one of those shows. You have one of those shows. Johnny has one of those shows. Town and Country. I mean, the list could go on, right? So
yeah.
He says, I'm awestruck with you guys.
Aw.
Yeah.
Tim. You're so sweet.
Let's see what. So what day and time is the meetup with All Terrain Nation booth? Well, Craig, you hung out at our booth pretty much the whole event, so
just
you bring
show
your
up.
own cot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just have to. The one thing I haven't splurged on yet that I'm just like not ready to bite the bullet on is the actual tent.
Yeah, our tent died last year.
I remember that.
The wind got it, and
Yeah.
So I'm buying weights, but I'm
like
just
we're gonna
like,
work out.
No.
Is it gonna be sipping and work out? We're gonna have a whole booth.
No.
Sipping and
Bench
cardio.
pressing with Kelly.
Yeah. As my shoulder gives out. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm struggling on the tent thing.
I know.
Man.
Dwayne, I'm sure
You
you.
get what you pay for.
Dwayne, have you ever priced professional tents?
Oh yes, if you want your logo on one,
Yeah.
there's extremely expensive. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I couldn't believe it compared to what you could get one just with nothing on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go, Dave. Big sticker, and just slap it to the canvas on there,
Yeah,
and
the
you're good to
sticker
go.
might be cheaper to do the
Yeah.
sticker, just throw it on there.
It's not
But I
going to
know-
last. Hey,
Yeah.
In our booth, I know Diabolical is going to have some product in our Bronco. I believe we may have another Bronco in our booth from Diabolical. Diabolical is going to. We're splitting a booth with them, right? If I remember right.
Well, I don't know. You've been having.
I
that
forget.
conversation.
I've had 3 drinks in me.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, my shoulder's going to love this because it'll
That's
put me
true.
to
You'll
sleep.
actually sleep.
But yeah, no, it's going to be Supercell is going to be a lot of fun, guys. You definitely
Yeah.
want to check it out. Even if you can just get over for a Saturday. I know not everybody lives near East Tennessee, but I would recommend coming over probably a Friday afternoon if you could get over there. Maybe walking part of it. They have a lot of show and shine stuff. They have a lot of they do a lot of
Giveaways
awards and stuff, right?
Yeah, because usually, so from what we've understood in the past is that about 11 o'clock it starts to get quiet on the floor, on the show floor, essentially, because they start doing like some of the awards and things like that.
Mhm.
So definitely, if you plan on coming over, make sure that you're over there for the Friday afternoon part, because that's when it's really busy, or at least from what we saw last year. I'm sure you can probably attest to that too, Dwayne.
Oh yeah, it was Friday was the day, and of course Saturday started off kind of slow, and it's like in a blink, the place is packed. And so if you're going there to get footage of Broncos, get there early in the morning and get rolling, get all of your footage out of the way, and then enjoy, because after that there's so much talking, background noise, occasional people driving 2 feet from you about 80 miles an hour. No, I'm just kidding. But
they do a really good job
what
of
I'm
trying to keep
talking
people
about.
in line though too.
No, it was a great event. I'm just kidding about that. It was but it gets busy, and when it gets busy, it's hard for audio and to be able to shoot stuff. So early in the morning or the first couple of days when you're there, that's the time to go have fun. And there's nothing like a cool drive, like 50, 60 degrees with the top back from Pigeon Forge to Townsand on Wares Valley Road. It's just a great
heated
day.
seats, man. Heated seats.
It's a great way to start your day.
So I'm itching on our Bronco to actually take the soft top off completely. Well, for one, I just think it looks really cool without it. But you know what's going to happen though? I'm going to get this in my head because it's only a couple bolts and you can have the thing off.
You're right.
But you know what's going to happen is as soon as I do that, we're going to get a flash flood of rain come through and screw everything up.
Tennessee.
MGV. Just take a tarp. You'll be all right.
Tarp your Bronco day.
Yeah, tarp your Bronco day, whatever. Of course, we won't know until that week accurately what the weather's going to really be. I mean, a week before they'll have a good idea. But I think last year we were spoiled because it was just a great,
The weather was beautiful.
Yeah, it was gorgeous
and I'll
last year.
say too, Wednesday Wednesday opening day was busy.
Mhm.
It was a lot busier than I thought it would be.
Oh, and Gavin wanted me. We're going to mention this Wednesday night. Speaking of Supercell, he said, "Hey, let's make sure that we try to get something together where we do the go-karts there." I forget there's 2
Yes.
tracks. He wants to race anyone who wants to go out there and race with him. He's like itching. So
Well, you know
he's
what we
like,
found?
bring it on.
We were over there in December, and I like that wooden racetrack that they have, little spirals.
Yeah.
Our daughter being weighing only like
4
60
pounds.
pounds or whatever. I've noticed the go-karts with more plus-size people like me are a little slower. So
yeah.
Sweet of you to not call me out.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about myself.
No,
Our
I
daughter
get
whipped
it.
her ass, man. It was embarrassing.
She
Yeah.
started in like 3rd or 4th position, and then she beat everybody.
And I got mean, Duane. Like I get competitive, and I was like bashing her. like so. Gavin may not want to. My racing.
Oh
comes out of
no,
me.
no. He wants to. He will trade paint with you as good as anyone.
Nice.
He will. He's like no, and that's what scares me about him. He's no fear. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you've got to. You know, we were talking to the owner of Gravedigger one time. We were talking about, and Gavin was explaining his 4-wheeling days. He's like, "Look, get him in something with a cage. Get him off the 4-wheeler." He said he needs a cage around his head.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lifestyle Off-Road says it's easy with 2 people.
Yeah. Well,
Just off top.
lifestyle.
Well, we don't know Lifestyle Off-Road. You're not going to be there to be the second person
I
to
know.
help Dave.
And he put an intercooler in his, so he's going to up the horsepower in his Bronco a little bit.
Look at Bird Dog Overland's last comment.
We actually took our doors off and put them in the hotel when we went for Jeep.
Yeah,
Jeep
you talk
Invasion.
about funny. So we did. This will be the last story.
This
of the
was
night.
in the Jeep.
So we wanted to do Jeep Invasion. It's a big event. I mean, Duane, I think even you and Gavin would just have a blasting all the different style of vehicles and stuff.
Mhm.
But it's during
It was a shock to see cars that were not Jeeps.
it's during Woodward. Well,
Yeah, it's
the
during
Bronco
Dreamers.
version is going to be during Woodward.
Yeah, I know.
And which bums me out. Well, you'll get to. I think you're covering Woodward, and we're going to be at the other Bronco event. But
we're trying to do it all, honestly.
so you know those little push carts that you do, and you can hang your clothes off of it, your suits or whatever, and you put your luggage on the rack and you move
It's
it.
called a luggage rack.
I'm trying to be descriptive. So we get there, and we were on the 3rd floor, I think.
2nd or 3rd.
So I was like, how are we going to get these Jeep doors up to our room? Because I was not part of the fun of having this style vehicle is, like Jody was saying, take the doors off, go have a blast. And so we ended up getting one of those carts.
Our friend Jim was like, "Oh yeah, we just used the luggage cart.
Yeah.
That's what I did the last time."
And so we had this full of 4 Jeep doors trying to push the thing into an elevator. Oh, it was hilarious. Like trying to get all these doors into an elevator to get them upstairs. And so I can
on 2 different Jeeps,
yes,
mind you.
I can only
Nice.
anticipate what Bronco would. Bronco might be a little easier though. The doors seemed a little easier.
Well, we've
to
got the
handle.
bags,
Yeah.
so it's easier anyway.
Yeah, you're
We're
not
not
worried
in-
about scratching them as much.
Yeah.
We were in this weird 80s rape cabin last year that was kind of weird. Like our Airbnb last year was a little creepy.
Last year, yes. So the other day I went back and read the reviews on that, and I was like, these people had to be paid for their reviews because this is not indicative of the place that we stayed at.
It had a hot tub that I swear was from a porn shoot in 1980.
Nice.
I swear to God, it was the weird
Gosh.
colors. The wood was rotting. Like it was definitely from the 80s. It was weird.
That
It was like an octagon shaped green hot tub.
Yes.
It was crazy.
well. So speaking of those luggage carts, right, Kelly? That's what I don't want to the brass one. Anyway, when we got the hotel, your favorite hotel up in Detroit or wherever
that was Tim's favorite hotel.
Yeah. So we got there about 3 a.m. You know, we left a little late, my fault.
Mhm.
And so Gavin gets one of those cars and he's going through the parking lot. You know, there's a slight slope. So all you can hear is this clanging and banging and a kid yelling at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, we're going to get kicked out of this place before we even get in our room. You know, man? He was wide open, man. He loved that. But yeah, speaking of that cart, that was funny. We didn't hit any cars though. That was a plus.
That's good.
That's a plus. You know what was really bad about that though? So we all stayed in that hotel in Detroit, and Jody's made ours Bronco look so tiny.
Yes.
Oh, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's got all the accessories, got the big tires, got all this
Yep.
stuff, and it's like, oh man.
Yep. One day
Yeah,
my Bronco would be as big as Kelly's
Whose
Bronco.
Bronco?
Jesus, easy. So quick to bash me. Hey, Tim Bartz, did you end up figuring out a ride? How you was Ford going to provide you a Bronco? I know we talked at Chicago about maybe making that happen. Hopefully, because I know Tim's in Kansas, so it might be a hell of a drive to drive over there. He was talking about flying in, and hopefully having a Bronco, Ford might be able to hook him up with one.
He said he was thinking about driving in. He had said that at one point.
Tim, I don't recommend driving through your state. Kansas is horrible, just horrible to drive through, man.
Well, he's driving and camping, so that's a good idea.
Driving and camping. Okay. Well,
so
you're a better man than me, sir.
So Gavin and I were doing our second official camping trip when we get back from Super Celebration up in the mountains again.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Remember the last time I was trying to communicate with everyone about something, and it was like 2 days later. We were in this valley, and I didn't have a cell signal. And I'm thinking, okay, I really need to work on some comms now because it felt a little uneasy. There was no one around. And we were in this valley, and I had no phone service for that day. Really, should just one day. It got me thinking about that. You know, when you go out in the wild, right? And if you actually go camping and you're off the beaten path, the comms become a real issue.
Yes. No. Well, I deal with, so in my real job, I deal with being out of cell coverage quite a bit. No, it's kind of, well, for one, I'm addicted to checking all the socials all the time. So that like stresses me out that you can't do that. But no, like in an emergency situation would be a nightmare.
Hey, look at Justin Zimmerman's comment. That's the in reference to Overland East.
Heated sleeping bag.
Yeah. I told him the next day, I was like, well, I'm glad I'm here because I was like a half a degree from hypothermia. Yeah, they were laughing at me. It was cold, man.
That was for Supercell.
Well, Duane was talking, he missed, so everything shut down because there's all this stuff you could buy there. It's like the mecca of all this camping gear, but everybody was shut down by the time he realized it might be cold. But
I thought it was going to be 43 degrees, and someone said, oh, no, it's going to be 30 tonight. And then the vendors were closing, and I started looking for someone that had a heated, no luck. So
when was this?
So, the
Overland East.
Overland East. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Supercell. I was like, when did that happen?
By the way, that's a great event. If you ever want to go to something, see the, obviously in the name overlanding, all types of whether trailers or pop-ups or ground camping or modified RVs.
We pretty much have to get there this year for that because I've
fun.
Not put it off, but it's just my off-road event that we used to put on was at the same time period. So it just made it impossible to get over there.
Gotcha.
But no, I have to get over there and cover that.
We talked about going this year, but it was like really rainy leading up to it. And we'd heard in the past that it had been a mud pit. And we were like, driving over for a day over there. I don't know that that'd be a good idea.
Well, they were doing it at the Biltmore for a while, which got messy there.
Yeah.
And I think at the Biltmore, it was expensive too. I mean, it's not cheap to go to that event anyways, but.
And it was a nice ride. It's a nice ride for us. It's just south of Charlottesville, up western part of our state. So it's a nice place up there.
Yeah. Hey, Duane, next time, I know people are mentioning heated sleeping bags and all this. You know, the best thing to keep in your backpack, those hot hands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when I was out west, I was in Utah and we were doing some overlanding. We were driving to Colorado, but I had a sleeping bag. So I flew out there and I was relying on my buddy from California who doesn't know what cold temperatures are to supply
military. He's former military
to supply me for our event. So we were up in a rooftop tent. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to take these hot hands with me. So what I ended up doing is threw them in the bottom of my sleeping bag.
Oh yeah.
In my pockets. And that was a big, like just having some heat in that situation when you're uncomfortable made such a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to wimp out or anything, but look, when it's when it's like 31, 32 degrees in your tent, I mean, that's just cold. I don't care who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Tim says he and his wife had heated vests, which I've had those, and I
bought you one for Christmas.
I don't even know where that's went. But no, I have, so yeah, for surveying, I have a heated vest, and I can put it under my coveralls and just put it on low. zero issues, man. Very nice. But we haven't
It
had
was
what
the only time that I did a good job
You
buying
did,
a
you did.
Christmas present.
Hey,
But we
Oh,
haven't-
last year was good too. I got you bourbon.
yeah. We
hey,
haven't had
Dave, I
what
know
they
this
call
is your
winter
show,
this
but I
year.
have a comment or I have a question
Go
for you.
right ahead, Lane.
You see Jody's comment, are drones allowed at Supercell? That's a good question.
Well, I flew one last year.
Yeah, we flew one last year, so we'll
Did you
have to
really?
look at the
So,
FAQs.
so being a drone pilot, the biggest thing they tell you is don't fly over crowds. That's kind of rule number one. When I've flown, I don't know if it was really up and running just yet. But I've not seen anything. You may look at I put their the link to Supercell there. You may look, they may have some regulations on some of that stuff, but the FAA do have some regulations on that stuff, and
Oh yeah, they do.
they can slap you with a nice fine. So just be careful with that.
Gotcha.
Kelly, Tim says his wife gave him his first birthday.
Yeah, I'm not usually a very good gift giver, but I
She's
saw
not.
that.
She's not.
You see?
No,
Like,
no,
no, I'm
I love
terrible.
you to death. You're
No,
my
I
best.
am. I'm a
You're my best
terrible-
friend
I'm a
ever.
terrible gift giver.
Yes, you're awful. But
It's true.
but that's all right. You make up in different ways. We go have all these fun adventures.
No, I'm a terrible gift giver. Part of it is because he's really, really, really hard to buy for. Because we're at that point, like in our lives, where like if we want something, we typically just go pick it up.
Right.
And so when it comes like Christmas or birthday time, we're like, well, hell, what's left?
We haven't bought each other a Christmas present in a long time.
I bought you all that bourbon last year.
Is that for Christmas?
Yeah, it's Christmas. It was a bourbon tasting last year.
I got you something that, but we really don't. We don't
buy
really.
much. Well, like for example, our first Christmas together, he got me a Leatherman and a wallet, and I was so excited. And my mom was like,
too.
"Okay." But those are the things I remember: the
Yeah.
wallet and the. And my mom was like, "He got you a Leatherman, like
she
and
loved
a
it.
wallet," and I was like, "Yeah, it's amazing." Like we're just weird like that. Like we like.
Why don't you do a gift giving spin like you do on your Valentine's card? We just go in a store and give someone something and just put it back down.
Well, we can. Do
Your Valentine's card, it's genius. You just go in and
We've
pick a
done that
card.
for a long time.
Yeah,
man.
I think it's cool.
Like 7 or 8 years.
I've never seen anybody do that. It's pretty fun.
Well, because I hate personally, I know this is Broncos, but so I hate cards. Like if I want to tell her I love her, I'm just going to tell her I love her, and I can be very romantic, and I can bring her flowers and stuff, and do all that. I do that unless it's not Valentine's.
MP, he can be a total jerk too.
Oh, I've told them. They know I'm an asshole. But like I like to give flowers when you're not expecting it, like for no reason.
Plus,
we
we don't need to spend $60.
Yeah,
on
and
that.
man, Valentine's gets so silly expensive, and cards are $10 now.
It's a lot.
For what?
Do you
So
tell her
yes,
you
they-
love
they-
her every time you need the keys to the Bronco or what?
I have my own set.
Okay.
Yeah, he has his own set.
I don't get to use them often.
I typically have to ask permission to drive the Bronco if he's home.
Well,
I just
because I
drive it
might
every
need to
other
film
time.
something. I do, we were giving a lot of shit about not having sliders on just yet.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know we were going to do it this weekend. Dave wasn't feeling great.
Well, the weather was
So-
kind of
Yeah. Oh, Nick, we're just randomly talking stuff.
yeah, just talking. Let's see, William Lane. Let's see. The FAA has a 400-foot limit, and you have to have a cert. Yes, the 107. Yes, I'm very aware of that one as I use drones professionally. Hey, Duane, have you seen? We'll wrap this up, and this is kind of off-roading. But have you seen how the government's come down on filming in national parks? Have you read anything about that?
Just
So-
in general.
Years ago, there was a video where, and I wish I just know enough to be dangerous. So I don't know whose YouTube channel it is and what park they were in. They were out west and they were filming, and yeah, it had to go to court over this stuff.
Mhm.
And there was, I understand that the Supreme Court overturned this deal where you can't, and this was a few years ago, where you can film there. Has something changed recently?
Yes, well, they've came back, and there's a couple good videos on here on YouTube. If you guys are ever filming, so anytime you post anything to Facebook, it's ad related content. Whether you're making money on it, I've already talked about that. So whether it's you making money from it, so me and you are both in the AdSense program where our
Right.
channels do generate a little bit of money. But if you're just a consumer that want to show the world your art, Google makes money on this. So
There's monetization.
yes,
to
the
it.
government is saying, well, now you're a professional filmmaker. You need to now have a permit to film in a national park. And it's ridiculous. And they can even nail you on Facebook now. It's so ridiculous that you're just a family on a family vacation, you post something to Facebook. Well, guess what? Facebook runs ads. Suddenly now you're monetized content. Well, you're not making the money, but
So, like, if
somebody
you
is.
just went live to your friends and family on like Instagram or Facebook,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Hey, we're at the Grand Canyon. Look, it's beautiful." Blah blah blah. You'd be in trouble.
Yeah. So it's getting ridiculous now. I just kind of wanted to talk about that just a little bit because
So just be aware of what's out there.
not that, trust me. So they were talking about the FAA. So for what I do, being a land surveyor, we use drones quite a bit, and we're licensed pilots. But it's getting to like as individuals, you can't do why go to a park then? I mean, not that you have to video everything you do, but it's getting ridiculous that as YouTubers, like we got to think now of where we can film.
Yeah, that's land of the free, right? I just don't understand something like that because where have we been notified? Has YouTube said, "Hey, by the way, keep this in mind"? I haven't seen anything about that. The last video I saw was somebody contested it, and a federal judge overturned it.
They did, and it came back, and now they've
Re-overturned.
It was a lower court, and now they've taken it to the next higher court, and they've overturned that one.
Well, and I imagine probably on the signs it probably says something before you enter a park now.
Probably,
is
yeah.
what I would guess. You know that like laundry list of the 8,000 rules that you have to follow? I'm sure it's snuck in there somewhere.
But I was going to say, much like the FAA stuff with drones, I know for drones at one time there was 2 people in the United States that would actually look for drones in the air filming and stuff. Like the FAA, they don't have the resources for it. So you could get in trouble.
Well, I had no idea. I just knew it was a thing in the past and it had gone away. I hadn't heard there was a resurgence of it.
Yeah, he was watching a video the other day while I was working. I heard
William, you still have to get a permit. No matter me being a certified pilot or not, you still have to get a permit
for the national parks
for filming.
I don't think he's talking about that. I think he's talking about just in general, you should have permission.
But no, as far as like flying over that, yes, there are some rules to.
Now, I do know that Cape Hatteras Light, you can't commercially film that. I do know that.
Yeah. What about the Outer Bank?
Well, that's what I mean. Down in the Outer Banks, the Cape Hatteras Light. Yeah. No, you can, there's different places down there. They're not federal parks. Some certain are. So I guess that's down there. You have to watch it. But yeah, the Cape, I know when you see a vehicle in front of the lighthouse, it's because if it's commercial, someone's gotten a permit to do it. There's a few photographers down there that you can deal with that they get the license, they do whatever, and you pay them. And there's a lot of Milky Way shots out there. Pretty cool if you've ever seen that.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. Sid told me something a couple weeks ago. She was like, "Did you know that it's illegal? That picture right there is," because we were going through Hobby Lobby and then it had a picture of the Eiffel Tower. And she said, do you know, Mom, that that's illegal? And I was like, what are you talking about? And sure enough, she looked it up, and it is actually illegal to take a picture of the Eiffel Tower and sell it. Like to make any money off of it, you can't do it. Like if you do it from a consumer perspective, like, hey, I want to take a picture, but that can be, it can start to get in the realm of like, hey, Facebook is making money off of it. It's kind of the same mentality. So it's like, where do we go? And all of a sudden we just became.
It'd be nice to go on a nice French vacation and suddenly you got like 5 lawsuits against you because you took.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I don't want to call them out because, whatever, it's your channel. I'll do it on mine. But there's a big monster truck organization and you're not allowed to film, even though you'll see some stuff online, but you're not allowed to film and publish even shorts or anything like that, any kind of content there.
Well, to much me, like the Eleanor thing.
See, that's getting crazy. But here's my thing is I want people to see, the videos, because then it's like, wow, that looks cool. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go see it.
Like right now you're in some bubble and you're just hoping everybody wants to go because you exist. To me, it's a form of advertisement. And Ford has to love, and Jeep, and every manufacturer, they have to love the content that we put out on, and it's their brand of vehicle. Because it's people are getting to actually see. So if you have a Bronco, it's made for off road. Isn't it cool to see it actually off road?
Yeah.
Right. Something that most people might not get to do with their Bronco, or they'll see it and say, well, I can do that. And then they'll go do it. So
unless you break it, and then it's not warranted.
No, it's not warranted. And then it's on film. Yeah.
Well,
There is that.
It's great free advertisement for them, really. Like we bought our trucks and we're taking them out and doing fun stuff with it. But yet like you said, other people can look at it and go, ooh, that's fun. Ooh, now I want one. So really we're selling the product for them without.
I mean, you're showing people the creative, that we all have our ego. Yeah.
Think about it, Duane. I'm sure both of our channels have sold a few Broncos for Ford.
Yeah.
So
well, I know for a fact that the dealer that I always talk about, the one that we buy our vehicles from, who I generally just like them. They're just good people, but they have told me, I think a couple of different occasions, people bought there because they watched my video. They're like, well, they were afraid, but like I've always had great experience, so why not? So I guess there's that.
Well, I know we've had several people in the chat over the months, the years with us have been like, I was starting to lose hope, but because your channels and things like that, it's really kind of kept me going because that community is there. That community has been organically created over the last 3 years or so. And the fact that community has built kind of there, and here we are. Going there, but
think about when you hear it is rough when you're waiting for your Bronco. I can tell you firsthand that someone else gets theirs. You're like, dang it. And then one night I was driving somewhere, Dave, and you were doing your show, and I was like, hey, I think Kelly even read the comment. I'm listening to your show driving down the road in my Bronco. This is after I got you're like, whatever. I know how it is. I was like, dang, I didn't mean to get him all ticked off at me, but I'm like, bragging. No. I get it. It's like, I will watch a video. I got my Bronco day, or good for you. That type of thing. Look, and that's why someone's waiting for their Bronco. My heart goes out to you because I couldn't even imagine this long.
Mm-mm.
Oh, could you imagine me a day 1 through 10 or something?
Nope.
Still, like I feel for you guys, man.
I would have lost my mind by now.
Well, and when Ford's done with you at the reorders, you'll really lose your mind because they're going to tell you this is it.
So
what do you got in your hand there, Kelly?
So I think it was Bronco 78 that said we need to do the countdown. So of course we need to do the countdown. So 49 days to Bronco Super Cel East. Bronco Super Cel East. So if you have not registered, be sure that you guys get out there and register. Also, Bronco Nation, I don't know if they've actually posted the details, but I guess they're coming out with some camping for Super Cel East, that it's not at the event area, but it is going to be an exclusive, or like at another place where everybody's going to they're going to have kind of a base camp there. Dave's working on pulling that up now to see if the information
it's probably
is there,
they're going to have their yurts there.
Oh, okay.
That's what we stayed in Overland East. And it was really nice. They had them all set up, and you could just pick one, or you could pop your gear.
I know from what someone had posted the other day, it said that it would be at another campground. So I don't know if they're bringing in the yurts this time or whether.
Yeah, I don't see anything readily available. I mean,
I'm sure events.
Where are they at?
Very top. There's Supercell. Sorry, y'all. He's bringing up the.
I don't really have.
This is our. There it is. Event details.
I'll post this over here if you guys want to check this out. They've mentioned it in there. I don't.
This is to be determined.
Yeah, it's during Duane's time, so I don't want to mention it too much. But you can go back and watch their live videos. Kelly, any final things you want to talk about? This has been a long one, and Duane's probably ready to go to bed. He's an hour earlier than we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 11:26 here.
He's later than us, not earlier.
Well, whatever.
He's later. No, I didn't really have much to talk about tonight.
Next week we have IAG Off-Road. JJ should be on here with Allie's good friends with those guys over there. So that was a good get for us. In the coming weeks, we have 74 Weld, I believe is the name of the company. They're doing the new rack and pinion that they're upgrading. They're going to want to talk about that a little bit. So that's going to be kind of fun to talk about with those guys. I've been bugging the piss out of them to get them on the show. So basically they're like, look, man, if you'll shut up, we'll come do your show. But no, that should be fun. Cause I don't know, Duane, if you've seen what they're doing, where they're taking the Wild Track 3.0 Haas system, or the rack system they're using. They're even taking it further, upgrading it. They figured out where maybe Bronkbuster has a couple things he's worked on that sort of were early fixes. I think they have the next generation fix, which is going to solve a lot of people's problems, where you can go do a lot of extreme stuff with that rack and not have to worry about it. Because I know Von Gittin Jr. and those guys were sending in their broken racks for them to re-engineer that stuff. So very excited to talk to those guys. It's going to be expensive though, $5,000.
Ooh, but
$5,000 for a new rack, but if I break this one and then you go $5,000 and I don't break it for the next 5 to 10 years, it might be worth it.
Yeah,
So
worth it. Yeah. If you're going to do the heavy wheeling, you might need it.
Nick says
hey,
hi.
Nick.
Guys, you ever have questions or comments, you can hit us up on Instagram. I'm easy to get along with there.
Sorry.
All-Terrain Nation Media at gmail.com. You can hit us up that way. Discord. I need to put that up here real quick. Sorry. I mentioned
Gosh, you're such a slacker.
No, I
tonight.
mentioned it earlier and then I got distracted.
Somebody had asked if there was like Bronco, the version of ducks. And
I'm not a duck guy.
So I'll just say that there are some folks that are doing what's called Buck Bronco. If you go check them out on Facebook, it's called Buck Bronco, and people are like doing little things where they're handing out things on vehicles and stuff. But I'll be honest, I haven't really been successful with getting another Bronco to wave at me in town.
And we have quite a few here now.
And we have quite a few here now. So
Really?
yeah, it's unfortunate.
I bet we have 35 or so Broncos floating around
probably
here.
so.
Hopefully this works. The Discord, that's All-Terrain Nation. You can find us that way if you're on Discord. Discord is fun because guys chat all day long about just not even Broncos. It's just for everything automotive. A lot of Bronco talk though. So if you have questions, it's a good way. There's Mobile Modals in there who hasn't been in the chat in a couple of weeks. He is a great guy
He
for
was ready to travel the last time he was on. So
he's a great guy for information. He does a lot in there. So and I know a few others. I know Mark is big in there. Who damn it, he just showing he got a new best top. Damn it, Mark. That best top. Anyway, so once again, memberships. We thank you all members for helping support the channel. Go over Wednesday nights. Duane, what time is your show on?
Right now it's 8:30 p.m. every Wednesday night Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. So go check out Duane. Duane needs your support. So go check him out. And,
yeah, we need we're taking incoming around 8:30 at night.
Right.
We need some fans.
Anybody can watch the old Bronco Nation and those hipsters. But go check out Duane and Gavin. Gavin's a bunch of fun, and it makes Gavin happy that you guys come support the channel, and that's good enough for me. So Duane, I appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Duane, I've been trying to get him on for a while. I keep thinking about asking him, and then we had all these pre-planned things. And when Kelly and Allie were both like, I don't know if we can get there, I was like, I know who will get there.
You're like, who could I find at the last minute? Oh, I know who will do it. Yeah. That's all
I know
right.
who likes talking Broncos.
But
anyways,
anytime.
Any final plugs you want to get out there? What should people come see?
For me, Super Cel here in April, and check out our channel if you can. I appreciate you having us on tonight and the nice words. We're going to be relaunching Driven coming up very soon, and this time I'm going to do what my publisher didn't do, and we're going to have a blast. We're going to have a fun. We're going to have a party, and we're going to talk Mustangs, a little bit, but mostly Broncos. So that's it.
Nice.
If you guys look behind Duane there, it's his book that he wrote, which Duane asked where the book was. I told him Cindy
Right
just
there.
changed up the.
Oh, did she read?
I asked her yesterday. I said, "Hey, change up the background for me." So,
Yeah.
Duane, have you ever watched? This is the one fun thing. You ever watch the show Hot Ones?
No, I haven't.
So check it out. It's where they interview guests and they have to eat spicy hot sauce
While they talk.
Nice.
while they are being interviewed. And I was very excited.
Did you thank all the super chats, by the way?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Called
I
Hot
saw
One. Hot
still
One
in-
is
Hot Ones. I'm telling you. And the women usually outdo the guys for hot sauce, which
That's because we're badasses.
I know that. But so that one's like 1,600 on the scale. They go up to 2 million for the hot sauces.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I wouldn't get-
Texas Pete. I'm a Texas Pete kind of.
I wouldn't take them out. I wouldn't last.
So whether it be 2-wheel drive, Kelly,
4-wheel drive.
it only matters what you drive tonight if you're driving a Bronco here on the channel. And go see Duane over there. And we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.
See ya.